some non-PC.
This is Hume Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's the show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
We would like to welcome you to a show with hoodies.
Hi, everyone.
Kat Carlson is just in from a Renaissance fair.
I look like Marty Feldman from Young Frankenstein. Wham!
Fine, I'll take the one on the toilet.
And I've been playing a level 3 rogue. With slight magical properties.
These two, for some reason, think it's chilly in Studio C.
Can't think why.
I
The
think
jet stream has moved over our location. It's an Arctic blast.
according to the atomic clock on the wall, it's 74 degrees in here.
Not here.
I don't know what happened. But anyway, drink more coffee, drink more wine, you'll warm up. You'll be fine. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Everybody's in the chat room. Joe and Aaron and Joey from Canada is already in there. I don't think my mom is going to join us because I think mom's watching the World Series. She was seemingly focused on that when I talked to her about an hour ago.
And what a game to watch today because we saw a Grand Slam.
That's
a
true.
World Series Grand Slam.
World-renowned sports fans, Al Perkins and Kat Carlson.
Would you like to elaborate, Al,
We're
on those for
watching
those
the
of you who
World
don't
Series
understand?
today.
The bases were loaded.
Oh.
And the very young, cute gentleman that was batting.
This is why Al was paying attention because there was
He
a young...
was very
He was,
cute.
yeah, he
No,
was
really,
very cute. It was distracting.
Is this the Jose kid, the catcher?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I believe it was him.
Got it.
Because I think I saw him later squatting down.
I don't judge what
may-
people do.
Oh, wait, I think we actually had a picture because I looked.
Oh,
it
I
up.
saw a picture. So, yeah, he's gonna be in the highlight reel for a while, and it was very exciting to watch. But then I thought a young lady behind us was having some kind of a nervous breakdown, and it turned out to be the older gentleman, very excited about seeing a Grand Slam. So
Yeah, he did sound like he was going into some cardiac arrest.
I really did.
It was
have to
very
turn around and
concerning.
check on the other humans in the establishment.
It's kind of you to do that.
Thank God you were there.
Well, it was mostly to mock him, or
Oh,
what I
sure.
thought was a she, and then
Okay.
turned out to be.
Turned out to be an older gentleman who was just very excited about baseball.
I see.
And I was like, that noise came out of you?
Oh my God, Marty! Speaking of older gentlemen, Marty Ryder. Marty has shown up. Good God bless you, Marty. Look at you early too. It's only 4 after.
I like your shirt.
That's funny.
It's cute. How? For those, I don't know if you can read Marty's shirt. It says, "When they go low, we go high." A quote from Melania Trump. Where do you get these? You
my God,
seem
I
to
know.
show up really quickly with shit like this.
Oh, because the minute I hear it, I go online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Who made a t-shirt? Who made a t-shirt?
Yeah.
Who made a t-shirt? Oh, she's gonna pull something out of a tube. The hell?
This is a
This
family
is,
show,
This is
Marnie.
exciting too.
I know. Can you open that?
Can you? She doesn't even know what's in it. She can't open it.
Now she's passed the tube on to Al.
So you gave it to Al to open. Let's see how this
well, I
is
was
gonna.
going to use my teeth, but I always get yelled at.
Oh, that's a good. I would.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
You know, I'm the official opener of all things at the Cobalt.
Oh, look at you.
Okay.
Welcome to Cobalt,
I
Cat.
appreciate
Oh, she went the other end.
Oh,
Good for you.
yeah.
Well, the two of us loosened it. Don't get
No,
too
she
excited.
went. She
You
went to
loosened
the.
it for me,
I think she
clearly.
went for the other end.
Clearly.
Oh, she got something else now. What do you got now, Marnie?
Well, this is so if anyone doesn't get this, because it's fan-fucking-tastic, and thank you for getting it.
It's not hard not to get
It's
it.
no. Some people did
You'd
not.
be surprised.
So
Some
you'd be
people-
surprised. People are like, "Oh, Melania."
I like
No.
how you have to turn extra around.
Because I thought we could put this up in here.
Oh, yeah,
that's
we can.
fantastic.
Oh, sure, because that's the real one.
love that.
Yeah.
That's right.
We
so
can do that.
we have the Michelle Obama,
The original.
and then we have the plagiarized.
First
So 2
$4,
years, you gotta
right.
wait. You gotta give it a couple years for her to give that speech. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I know, right? Well, maybe it'll be on Thursday.
That'll be nice.
Right, Joey. Joey.
It's too small for the flashlight, Joey. You know that.
Anyway, I thought we could perhaps put that up in here.
Well, we can.
Yeah.
Lovely.
May I
Very
steal
exciting.
that back,
Oh, you
please?
certainly may. You don't have to
you.
steal it. I'll just
So
give
not
it to
only do you ordered signs, you bought shirts, you've been busy.
I'm very busy.
God damn.
Yeah.
Very busy.
That's why
Thank you. Thank you for noticing.
That's why I was running late tonight.
Oh, that's why. What about the other weeks?
Well, I don't know about that. I was busy looking for the
Yeah.
shirts the other week.
I see.
there you go. It covers me for like 4, right?
Um,
Right.
Speech was in
And then
July.
I carry
Carry
the
two-
one.
Yeah.
I was told there'd be
Very
no
busy.
math.
Very, very busy.
Good God.
No carrying of ones.
Did anybody
Day.
before we get too far away from yesterday? Obviously, in I'm not sure where anybody else celebrates it, but it was Halloween in the United States yesterday for most. And by the way, the two outfits that are being worn in the studio are not part of a Halloween extended program.
I thought Chewbacca had shown up. I wasn't sure.
No.
I wasn't
Chewbacca.
sure. Well, that looks like a.
Oh,
I'm concerned.
Not Chewbacca. No,
Or-
an Ewok.
Ewok.
An Ewok.
That's right.
That's
All
a
right.
good one.
I did. I thought Ewok.
I'm
That's
just
right.
enjoying that she has to turn to look at me like she has a neck
not sure
brace
where
on.
to
She has to do
put
all of
that
this.
one.
I'm kind of
What's
enjoying it.
happening? I don't know.
Where's this Ewok? Is it behind me? Can everyone see it?
But I was wondering if anybody saw my boyfriend's show last night. Did anybody happen to see Matt out?
Yes.
Did you listen to the opening?
Yes.
Okay. Well, did you really?
What about those of us that did
Oh
not?
my God.
Oh, I'm
it
gonna
was
play it for you.
Are you?
fantastic.
I'm gonna play it for you because I enjoyed the shit out of it.
With video?
Oh no, there's no. I just have the.
Yeah.
I just have the audio of it because
She
that's enough.
he is just becoming fucking hysterical, even more than.
Well, she's really.
Done.
You know how Al talks about how when they get really tired on election coverage nights and Brian
Right,
Williams is
right.
making jokes, they're really punchy. Like Rachel Maddow is so fucking exhausted
She
right
is.
now of everything, as is everybody else.
And she can't come up with a new smart word to use for any of what's going on because
Yes.
she's used them up.
Yeah, they're
like,
gone.
Right.
She uses such amazing
Well, she threw one.
vocabulary.
She used one at somebody yesterday, and I'm like, I don't even want to get up and Google that right now. I'm too
Many
tired.
times I just try to write it down phonetically, of course,
Right, well,
and then
traditional
have
spelling.
traditional, and then I have to look it all.
Anyway,
up.
Sound it out, bitch.
This is the opening, part of the opening of last
Oh.
night's Rachel Maddow show on MSNBC, giving them full credit so that in case they decide to sue us for using their audio, they won't. But Rachel, we love you dearly. This I just thought was very funny.
And thanks to you at home for joining us this hour. Happy Monday. Happy Halloween indeed. Boo.
Ah!
I'm wearing my same costume. It's because I've nailed it. Honestly, come on.
Did she dress up as...
Middle-aged, frumpy, underdressed, white lesbian.
She got it down.
Not a girl.
I love that because I'm thinking to myself, A, how many viewers of hers may not have ever known that?
Yeah.
Well, and the fact that then she just chuckled at herself.
She just
Like,
laughs
she
and
was
moves
like-
on.
Well, she talks about Susan, and then her wife's her partner's
I don't know
name,
her
Susan.
partner's name.
I think it's Susan, but she mentions her quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And because I'm still weeks behind on all my entertainment weeklies that are now like
Thank you.
Entertainment last
really
month.
old news as I get to them. She had a really good interview in Entertainment Weekly a few years ago because her show's getting better ratings and she's becoming a little bit of a
Thank you.
pop culture icon now because it turns out she's taking the Anderson Cooper place of like trendy homosexuals. She's a PhD from Oxford. She's a doctor.
Yeah, she's not.
Oh, I did not know
Oh
that.
yeah, she's not unbright.
Oh no, but I
I do not disagree with you.
yeah, I do not disagree with you.
Jesus, yeah, she's.
I knew
something.
she had.
Yeah.
I thought it was a master's from somewhere, America.
No, she's Rhodes. Like,
Yeah, Rhodes, like an actual
Rhodes
Rhodes scholar
scholar.
and a doctor. And they ask her why she doesn't go by doctor, and she's like, "This doesn't fit me."
It really doesn't. I can't imagine. I'm watching the Dr. Rachel Maddow show.
No, that sounds
Oh, you've
terrible.
dreamt about the Dr. Maddow, probably kind of thing, right?
So now you would be
You
Doctor
go to
and Mrs.
Dr.
Rachel Maddow.
That's exactly right.
No,
Oh
we're
my
not.
goodness.
No, any of my thoughts and prayers with her have not involved a doctor visit.
That's not.
That's
what
why
I'm
you
going
sound
for.
like you're going to go to Dr. Maddow.
No,
That's
no.
what that sounded like.
I'm just saying you're going to be the Doctor and
The
Mrs.
doctor,
Maddow.
exactly. Like that's your title.
So it's very
Oh, I see what you did there.
yeah.
And I'm going to take offense to that.
And just after I enjoy the glow of it, I'm
As
going
soon
to be
as
mad
I
at you.
understand what you said, I'm going to be offended.
Once I piece it together.
I'm uncomfortable.
Damn it! And you just what did you say to him right before I talked?
Hi, welcome.
Oh,
Doctor, playing Dr. Maddow, Rachel Maddow.
I lost it.
Horses.
The
Majors.
Dr. Maddow. Oh, no,
Rainbows.
Yeah, I can't remember.
He'll come back. She'll figure it out.
Unicorns.
We'll go full circle with it somehow.
Maybe we can listen back.
Yeah,
No, I
I
don't
hear
know.
it's recorded, but I don't know.
you just
Nant, I'm terribly sorry.
You just drove. I just thought that we were wearing hoodies. You just drove right into a line from Veep, and I completely lost it.
Oh,
Annette, you're more than welcome to send photos.
Yeah.
Shoot them to me through Facebook Messenger if you can.
I don't think he has
Right.
Facebook.
And it doesn't have.
Halloween
maybe
was-
not. I'm
yeah,
terribly sorry.
Halloween was for
Otherwise, shoot them to info@qtalkamerica.com. That would be the email address
Halloween. I would love that.
to shoot them to. But there are other. Sorry that there will be other video things played in the show later that you won't be able to see. But I'm hoping at some point you'll be able to figure it out. Oh, Mom's here. Mom's in the chat room now.
Yeah,
Apparently maybe the World Series got boring, or she has somehow figured out how to watch us and
It
it
was
at the same
7-0
time.
when we left
7
the
to
bar.
2.
So. 7.
Oh.
Oh. Real nail
And
biter
probably-
now.
Yeah, I don't know. Then there were people on base when I left.
It's a good place for them to be,
Something.
since it is a game about
Right,
getting
something.
on base.
I think so, but it was the wrong team for me.
Oh, I see. Well, no, wait. I don't know which team you're rooting for.
They were both wearing blue. I was very confused.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's where I am too.
Yeah. So it was the wrong team that was on base.
I
when
understand.
left. Yeah,
Well, all right.
but it's
Did
okay.
you get the message from Kat Carlson about her?
Already?
Well, that'll come up when I review my week.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's saving it for something. I thought it needed.
For a segment.
Well, it's coming up very soon because I feel like we're about to toss today.
Yeah. No, we are. Kat, what'd you do this week?
Hey, so
God damn it! I love some of you people are fantastic.
Someone say in my ear.
my producer's telling me we need to move on.
Oh yeah, sure they are.
So I, for the first time in many years, went to didn't work the busy Halloween weekend Saturday, and went to a Halloween party.
Okay.
And it was a costumes mandatory party.
Okay.
And in an odd paradox, as much as I do enjoy a ridiculous outfit and dressing up, I detest Halloween.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
That's fair.
a whole lot.
It's
I don't want to do what
it's
everybody
amateur
else
night.
is doing.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's
yeah, and
amateur
it's just
night.
and it was in Old Town Scottsdale, and it was just this whole thing. So I finally, like, I thought
From
very
Yalcal, that's further south Scottsdale.
right. I walked into my closet and I thought very carefully, and I thought, no, the shark costume's going to be too hot. I can't see out of the stormtrooper mask. My goodness, what
I
should
say that all the time in my closet. I'm not gonna be able to see out of my
I think
stormtrooper costume.
what would be like an easy but clever costume that people would probably get, but I don't have to put on any makeup or really work very hard at. The answer is Rachel Maddow.
And there we are.
That's right. That's right.
It's fantastic.
That's cute.
Lesbian side parts, nerdy glasses, jackets.
Either one could be mistaken for a young man.
Right.
Correct.
Sure.
Right.
Correct.
I got it.
Very good.
And there it is. And I showed up, and seriously, people actually kind of got it. They were like, wait, you kind of look like, are you Rachel Maddow? And then I showed them my homemade, like, Rachel Maddow name tag with the MSNBC logo. And I was like, yes, I am.
I appreciate that.
Yes, I am.
Indeed, I do, sir.
Indeed.
Wow.
I know.
That's funny.
So it was a
Was it a
very
fun party then?
It turned out to be a fun party. It was, I think the first hour was a little awkward for me because I don't know what to do. I'm not making any drinks, and
Sure.
now
I have to
I'm
just
just gonna
talk to you.
I'm just gonna sit here and just talk to people,
Right. It's weird.
and I can't just walk away from the conversation and it not be rude. That's the worst part about socializing.
Right.
Is
You're not like, I gotta
is
go
that
make a
I'm
drink.
really like stuck in that conversation. I can't just be like, oh, somebody's calling I gotta go.
Yeah. I gotta.
But yeah,
Stuff life.
after the nerves calmed, ended up having a really great time. Ended up witnessing a good friend like vomit out of the Uber. It was a very fun. It was a very fun.
Out of the Uber. There's your point. That's the key right
That's
there.
the key. That Uber driver got a hell of a tip though.
That avoids the
Yeah.
$200 cleanup fee
was a
from
good time.
Uber.
And she's a good sport about it because then she texted me just recently. She texted me a WikiHow article
Good.
with
Here we go
photos of how to actually vomit out of the car window.
Nice.
Step one, lean out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
step one is roll down the window.
Yeah.
As
Oh.
it turns out, yeah.
good
Step
call.
one,
Okay.
window down.
Okay, that's good. Window down.
It was very fun.
Window
Very fun.
down. Note to self.
No.
Next.
Yeah.
The next step is
Lean out of the window.
There you go,
Yeah,
and then-
aim your face that direction.
I'd get it. Ugh.
Yeah,
Oh.
I can send you the article.
No,
if
no,
you
no.
like.
Thank you. I'm gonna look forward to that.
But yeah, hilarity ensued. You know, people who were entirely too old to be
Hilarity and jocularity.
entirely too old for all that, but had a really great time. And what else? Now it's book fair week.
Now, my question
Nice.
for you in regards to the dislike for the Halloween. I know why I have my dislike for it.
Sure.
Mine is
Other
because
people.
yeah, but that's just like throughout the whole year.
Oh, sure.
But the other part is I have a real big issue if I don't know who you are and you come up to me with
yeah.
a mask.
Oh, sure.
But as a bartender, the other thing is you get the same shit across the bar a billion fucking times. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Is that part of your annoyance, or is there something else?
I think it is just years in the bar business that have kind of ruined grown-up Halloween for me. Because it is. Because first there's the I don't fucking recognize any of you idiots. And then,
I don't know what you drink now because I can't see you.
And then there's the ugly I don't know how to handle being in public that happens sometime after 12:30. You know, the just horrible things that people decide are a good idea after they've had entirely
it
too much
turns
to
into
drink.
like a fun costume into Cinco de Mayo, St. Patrick's Day.
Right. Same.
This time it's
same.
personal. Yeah.
Right. So I still greatly enjoy like little kid, couple of blocks in the neighborhood, trick or treat Halloween. Like that's a lot of fun. Especially because I just wander around behind them with a beer in my hand. You're fine. Go another couple
Who's
houses.
the Ewok drinking?
Yeah.
But we didn't even get to do that. The kids were with their dad this Halloween, so Sharon got all ramped up and was like, "Make sure to buy some candy. We're staying home for trick or treaters."
And you're like, shit.
I said, "We live on like a main road. We live on a
Right.
5-lane road. No one is coming trick or treating."
Oh.
Yeah,
I would
And?
think that they would.
and 2 trick or treaters. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I got a bunch of candy because there was a chance I wasn't going to work last night.
Yeah.
And I had that was the most I ever had. And then I got called into work at 6:45, so we shut everything down.
Right.
But I disabled my doorbell
Good.
many moons
Many
ago.
years ago, right.
Yeah, that thing ceased to live.
Yeah.
And I actually took it apart and off. Maybe I just took the battery out. Who
Yeah,
are we
we're
kidding?
not sure.
Yeah, due
just
to a
ripped
lack
it
of
off the
witnesses,
wall.
we'll
I
never
don't
know.
know, yeah.
Well, I didn't think about it, so I had the door closed, and it's hard to knock on the security door. Like, it doesn't make a lot of noise. So I saw somebody out in the driveway, so I was like, oh, there must be kids at the door, and I felt so bad
Fun.
because they were starting to turn around.
Oh.
And I'm like, no, I actually have candy this year. I'm ready for you.
Yeah. We even had
And the costumes were cute.
Yeah.
one of our 2 groups. There was
Some were
even
cute.
some sort of song and dance. Sharon got the door on that call because we apparently each got one. I got one and she got one. But yeah, there were like 6 kids out there, and I'm laying on the couch and they're singing and. What in the hell is going on?
Yeah, the first
It was
group
some
said trick or
Pokemon
treat.
thing.
That kind of lost its. I'm like, no, you got to say it, bitch.
Yeah, trick
Right.
or treat.
Yeah, don't just do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You're going to work for it.
Here's the script. Let's start again.
Right.
Clearly, you need some notes from the director.
4
Trick or
words.
treat.
Trick.
Smell
or
my feet.
treat.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there was a really cute Jasmine from Aladdin.
Oh, sure.
Where it was
I enjoy
just a
her.
girl
Or just
from
a-
that
yeah.
part of the country.
Or it was just
Or a
a,
neighbor girl.
or it was a midget hooker. You don't know. Maybe.
Well, at least you'll be the one that can't run for president.
Oh, honey, that happened so long ago.
Mine almost
Yeah.
got the bell. Yours got the.
Shit.
Let's just delete that
Yeah.
in post.
You don't know. You don't know.
We're gonna clean that up.
Yeah, well, it's gonna take a
Take
big
2.
sponge.
we don't even know who we offended.
Gonna take a big sponge. Doesn't matter. It's good.
And I know that some kids are taller.
Right.
But- Someone suspicious came to the door at about like towards the end, and they came up the driveway, and I'm like, all right, now it's a horror movie. Like
Yeah.
these are, but the one person stayed back,
Right.
and so they didn't both come up. So I was like, oh, maybe it is a parent and just a tall
An
child.
older child.
But it was a little bit of a scary costume. But he was like 5'7", 5'6", like not much shorter
Yeah.
than me. But then I was at I had a friend of mine's son is 15 and he's almost 6'6".
Sure.
So you know what I mean? He's just
get
barely
real
out of
big real
yeah,
fast.
He's just out of the realm of
Of
too old
reasonable
to trick or
trick-or-treating,
treaters,
right.
but he looks like, the father of 6 because he's fucking huge.
Wow, that was an interesting spot real quick right there. Father
No, I
of
mean,
6.
you know what I mean? Because he looks, you just don't think somebody 15 is going to be that tall.
Right.
Right.
And if you can get on a step stool and see his face, he looks
Still
young.
looks very young,
He looks
right.
young, but he's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
But put a Chewbacca mask on him.
Oh, and, yeah.
Yeah, years ago we had people that came up to the door and it was that's not a costume. When they came walking up toward the end, it's getting
It's the older
rather
kids that are out
late,
later,
right?
sure.
And the older kids are out later, and the 16, 17, 18-year-olds standing there like, pretend I'm James Dean, and they're smoking a cigarette, and they're like, what? No.
Yeah.
We're not. You're not getting candy. I get that you assumed the role, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No, you're
not
frightening. And
No,
you
you're
should
just
now
a
go away.
delinquent. I'm
Right.
calling the cops.
Yeah, you need to kind of go away because you're frightening everybody.
And then
Well, by that I mean
Don't
me.
make me turn the hose on you.
the nurse kicked up in my ass because I was like, when I was a kid, I always want.
Heard the
I
same
don't
thing.
really like.
We need more delicate Southern phrases for you.
Gotta be some way to phrase that.
A more delicate way to say that.
Nope. Turns out there's not.
So when I didn't really like candy, so I just went trick or treating because it was just something you did, and I
Sure.
would just be disgusted when it was over because I don't like anything.
Got to wander around the neighborhood
except
in the
for
dark.
Reese's cups. So that's what I got. I got little mini Reese's and then like the little crackle ones. You know those
Yep.
crunchy candy
With
bars
the rice in 'em.
Those are the only two I liked. Well, then I realized I'm giving out peanuts to fucking kids. I'm probably killing kids.
Nah, like
Well, don't you think their
3.
parents probably pull through
Well, they
and
have
they're
to
like,
figure it out.
But I was just
mean-
worried, like, oh, what if it's 85 degrees outside? That shit's
Sure.
gonna melt all over
in the
everything else.
70s, we never fucking worried about that. We just took it all.
Yep.
Razor blades and
I
all,
don't,
yeah.
I don't remember having any kind of
Yeah,
aversion
totally.
to peanut issues. I mean, I never have, but
Yeah.
But I just left because I'm like, oh, should I be asking them? Like,
I don't
do you
even
need the
remember
peanut or
hearing
the-
of that back then.
Me either.
I think it's new.
No, because
Well,
it was
they-
all razor blades
Yeah.
and
Razor
needles
blades and the
thing.
apples.
Yeah.
And Nant was wondering how many were dressed as clowns, and I was going to ask the same thing because
I
we
had
didn't have.
none.
Yeah, we didn't
Nope.
have any. There were little clowns.
No clowns.
But-
And then as
okay, people do read.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And I was surprised how late, but then I'm like, well, you got to wait for the people to be home from work to be home to give you the candy.
And to eat a little, like they have dinner,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
probably really get your homework done. You know, we thought the same thing because they started coming out quite a bit later than
Yeah.
normal. So, but
And
then
th- and
we've
then-
had 2 days, like with the weekend with
Like,
Friday,
yeah,
Saturday,
Saturday,
Sunday.
Sunday,
And then
Monday.
Rachel Maddow had like her whole opening thing was about white supremacists. So I'm
Right,
like, and
yeah.
now they're gonna come to the door and hear this, lesbian talking about white supremacists. So it sounds like, does it sound like I'm a white supremacist? Because now this bald guy is gonna, pale white bald guy is coming to the door. Like, did
Who
you?
may or may not be directing a sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Should I
It's an
wear my
Afghan,
hood?
but
I'm gonna wear my hood tonight. No, I'm not.
I'm like, this just doesn't look right.
It's fantastic.
I actually turned all the lights off, exterior and interior of the house, and left.
I saw your posts about hiding from the trick or treat.
I did. I went to a restaurant and ate. I had a margarita, some lovely food. Then I went to Stacy's and worked on my laptop until it was all done. I monitored my security cameras so I could make sure. And when I realized that nobody else was walking by on the street, because I could see, a stroller and a bunch of kids, they just walk right by. And then I came back home about midnight and turned everything back on.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Very festive of
You
you.
really waited till the bitter end.
I like that.
Well,
you
there
didn't
was
put your sign out there.
I was drinking too.
Yeah.
So.
Did
What?
you not put your sign out this
Well, no,
year
because
in
I-
English and Spanish? 'Cause
No.
that always makes me laugh.
Normally I do. I have a sign that says, "Sorry, I have no candy" in English and in Spanish.
No tengo dulce.
But
makes me
no, I didn't this year because the lights were all off. They couldn't have seen it anyway,
Oh, good call.
so I didn't.
I attempted that whole thing, and there are a couple of different ways to get into my yard, like at the end of the fence,
Mm-hmm.
and right up, and then up by the porch. So we fucking put tape around it because I don't want the kids walking up if they're going to come up over the kind of cobblestone walk. I don't
But
need
it's
them tripping.
But it's
Yeah.
scarier that way.
It is, but I don't need them tripping and suing me, little bastards. So
Oh.
I mean that with love. With love. So I take that up.
Halloween litigation time, dude.
I don't trust
It's so
anyone.
odd that you guys see
I
my
just-
kids so little.
I don't trust anyone. So then the other, they coming up the other way. I was like, no. So I had the lights switched off and I had everything up there because the Vikings played last night poorly. Playing is a bad way to say it. They had the same uniforms.
They had a game.
They had there was something. And,
On a field.
but I didn't know that they weren't going to actually show up. So I was excited to watch
Yeah.
it. And I have dogs. And
Yeah.
they bark like every time that there's a knock.
A mouse can fart and your
Exactly.
goddamn dogs lose their mind.
Exactly. Somebody farts 2 streets over
Yeah.
and they have to alert me. And it's
Right.
nice of them, but I'd prefer they don't.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, good. I'm going to shut all this shit off. We're good. We're
Mm-hmm.
just going to watch the game. They'll think it's a horror movie inside because I'll be screaming at the TV. But aside from that, we're good. And then there's my mother. Oh, we can't hand out candy? For real? For fucking real?
Well, wait, this is one of the odd times your mother is actually home this time of night.
Correct.
Right? 'Cause
I mean,
this
that
is
with
new.
love.
This is new.
If you're watching.
Her world has changed, so she's now gone during the day and home at night, right?
Makes my eye kind of
Oh,
flip. So all of a sudden she's out there like, well, I'll just pull the, and she pulled everything back, turned the lights on. She's all excited to see little kids.
yeah, that was an edit. I saw that.
I tried to edit it, yes.
Yeah. But I wanted to
I
because
just
I thought I was gonna be off, and
Sure.
so I was like, well, I'll go get candy and.
Normally, I'll have fun with it.
Yeah.
I just had other shit to do, and I didn't want to deal with the dogs going absolutely
Plus,
apeshit,
it's a sign
so-
that your neighborhood's getting better if you have trick or treaters.
Oh, absolutely. They
Yeah.
get busted into
I was actually just going
yeah.
to say that because when I moved in, 15 years ago, there weren't a lot of young kids. And now that it's turned around and a lot of
Yeah.
houses have been redone and sold, families have moved in, and there are a lot more children in the neighborhood.
Well, there are more children, but they also bring them in because it's a little bit, not by no means upscale, but it's a little bit better neighborhood than some of the homes south.
Okay.
So they're like, we know where to go get the goods.
Yeah. So
We're going up there. They have a lot of like shit blown up, and it looks really like for Halloween. And my neighborhood is decorated quite a bit. So I think you assume decorations mean that they're going to.
Well, like
this shit
I
out.
told everybody, the irony is that with the exterior lighting on my house, it's so inviting for a house
Right.
that doesn't want anybody to stop by.
Yeah.
And the
warm
grass,
and
the
cozy.
grass
It
looks
does.
fabulous. by
Oh,
the
thank
way.
you. My
Yeah.
lawn came in nicely. I'm very
Fabulous.
My
Yep.
God. I mowed it for the first
I like
time
it.
yesterday. I'm very proud of that.
So aside from trying to turn away children, what'd you do?
Well, aside from that,
Which is very busy. It's full time.
Yeah.
let's see. Did I put anything down?
Probably not.
Oh yeah. Exciting. This goes back to Mom, but we finally paid off Mom's car. So she's like
Oh, very
free of
exciting.
the car. The last car payment was sent.
Free at
that's
last,
cool.
It's
free
very
at last.
exciting.
So wow. So I
if-
mean, the
for
ruse.
anybody, yeah.
You have no car payments now.
Correct.
Very nice.
Anybody who's ever like done that whole send for the last payment,
Alfie
or
did
sent it off,
recently.
it's the best feeling.
What
It's
is that?
just
Even a year ago?
great
Yeah, but
feeling.
last October I paid it off.
It's just a great feeling. So
And
I'm hoping for February.
but and for
think
Alfie,
it's full
it's the
2
first
years
time
early, too.
without a car payment in how many years? Like, because you never have done that.
Oh, since I was 20.
Yeah. So a couple of years.
Yeah.
He's always had a car payment.
nice. Oh, isn't that awful?
Oh yeah, once you fall into that fucking thing.
Yeah. So that's just crazy. So that was just lovely. Like get.
Good.
rid
Well,
of
that's
that.
cool.
Yeah. So that
And you
was
said
exciting.
Kat, you said February is when you think on the old Caravan's going to be paid off?
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's not a Caravan, is it?
It is.
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Dodge Caravan.
Well,
And
she
it-
was saying 2 years early. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Oh, very
fantastic.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
Mine
but,
was
but
like
I also
mine
took out a
was 15
6-year
months
loan.
early.
So,
Nice. Oh, that's a big deal.
Oh.
There's
I forget how long you've had that now.
there's
that I
an
think about
upside
it.
to me working all these hours.
yeah. Yeah. No. Absolutely.
You
Got
can
it.
pay off a car a couple days early.
Right. Which is nice.
True
But
that.
my dad always said,
Like my daddy always used to tell me. He'd say, Roseanne,
now one thing, it's another.
that's right.
No, but he was always like, always just budget in a car payment into your life. Like, don't get used, like, never
sure.
get used to not having a car payment.
How
for
smart
sure.
is that?
So now I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't want a car payment again.
You can
But
easily
luckily,
do it.
the 17th car that I bought was the one that I like. So it's like, there's no like bells and whistles on another car that I need.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
I certainly don't know what it looks like. So it's not like I want somebody else's car.
Well, and I mean,
you
unless
can't
you're
even find your own, right?
Oh, exactly. And that was, and that
Yeah.
just came up in like memories was the
So
last,
funny.
like the last couple of weeks is the anniversary of all the times I lost my car in parking lots or tried to break into other people's car and
Right,
swore it was
right.
mine.
Why can't I get in? Oh God, that's so funny.
A friend, speaking of that kind of an incident, a friend of mine posted today on Facebook that he had just flown back into Phoenix and friends were picking him up in his car. So he runs out of the airport, arrivals, jumps in his car and realizes it's not his car. Scared the shit out of the family that was in it. But he's
I'll
like,
bet.
Happy Halloween.
You know
Look at
that
my
would be me.
costume. Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, yes. But no, there's really no more. What else could you possibly want the car to do aside from actually driving itself? Because your car does everything. It's got
Oh,
a
yeah.
great
I mean,
sound
it's got
system.
a-
It's
yeah.
Bluetooth. It's got cruise, tilt. It's economical.
It does not make toast.
We were
No.
we were done at thing number 2. It's got a great sound system and it has navigation, which I wanted.
Right, so-
and then phone's got navigation. So
Either way, you're going to
really,
get there.
I got that car, and I went to the all Apple all the time.
Right.
So like, there's navigation constant.
So he may never have to buy another vehicle ever.
Until they come out with the Apple car.
Oh.
oh no, it already sings. I don't know what more it could do. Like, will I sit with a hologram of what's the dead guy's
Steve
name?
Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Yeah,
Well, then you can do HOV
I would
lanes.
say maybe you can use a carpool lane.
just the Al and the dead guy.
It's a new
somebody should
show
write that
starting.
down.
Yeah, it's a new show starting. And,
See how the dead guy.
That could be our sleep podcast.
right.
I do think though.
Be our nap show.
I have not left my thoughts on the caravan. I still like that. So I'm still thinking like maybe next fall. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking maybe I will next fall do a
Buying a caravan.
something. I just
Get the
I-
get the
fantastic.
rear facing seats for me.
Oh,
oh,
good call.
so we can relive your
Yeah.
childhood.
No, so I can relive that car ride like 3 weeks ago when the Uber picked me up in the fucking caravan and I rode backwards and the driver was stoned out of his mind and I was looking the wrong way, so we never. Oh, we should have turned there. Oh, we should have turned there.
Right.
Oh, I'm not looking the right way to tell you where to turn.
Oops.
Still stoned, by the way.
Which way are we going?
Yeah.
Right. Get a compass. Nope.
You have a bottle of champagne and you sit backwards in a car. And
I
the
just
next
can't
get-
thing you know.
Kat, I just can't get away from stow and go seating. I'm so in love with the idea that it can be fully passenger equipped and it can haul cargo in a minute.
Yeah,
In
front
a
thing.
minute.
And now he wants something that seats 8 people he's never going to take
That-
with him.
Oh no, I have no idea. I have no desire to take all you people with me.
Right. Has 4 friends, doesn't want to see them more than once a week.
Yeah.
but
Right.
The original get off
Wants to be able
my
to
get
carry
off
8
my
people.
lawn.
Totally. In fact, I'm about ready to have words with the neighbor because he's parking in front of my house and walking across my lawn, and I'm like,
Oh, no.
"Oh, sir, we're gonna have to have a discussion about where you walk." I seemingly can't get the goddamn postman to stop, but you're in and out more times a day than the postman comes by.
Yeah. Well, and the mailman brings you mail.
But,
So he actually has kind of a purpose in coming
No,
over.
No,
Sure.
the mailman brings me stuff I have to sit around and sort out and
And
shred
recycle,
every
right.
fuckle.
Fuckle?
Fuckle 2 weeks.
Well, if you had more friends, maybe you'd get more cards.
traditional
more
spelling
cards.
on the fuckle. You
I'm
see.
the only one that still sends cards. So this has been
not at
the
all.
busiest fucking
I
2
wasn't done.
weeks of my life. What else did you do?
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to say that tomorrow I'm very, very excited. I'm going to go see Hillary.
Are you?
Oh,
Yeah.
are you
very
really?
exciting.
Yeah, I was
Very cool.
supposed to. I had sent you guys that thing about Michelle Obama, and I had really wanted to go.
For those of you that are listening and don't know what we're talking about, Hillary Clinton coming to Phoenix,
Sorry, yeah.
Arizona, actually Tempe, Arizona, a suburb of Phoenix, tomorrow, and you are going to see her.
Yeah,
Cool.
hopefully Aaron and I will be down there. But
Very cool.
I wanted to go see Michelle Obama when she was here last week. I, had
I,
sent
weeks
I
that-
should have. I should have just shit canned my whole
I
day
know.
for that because that was more possible than tomorrow.
Yeah, and I really wanted to be there, and then nobody could go. And I know it sounds stupid, but I wanted to share that with somebody. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but I should have gone, and I was frustrated that I didn't. Then, as I sat there watching it on C-SPAN, I should be there. I want to be there.
Yeah.
So when this came up, I thought I need to do this.
Right.
I need to do this. So I'm excited for that. And actually, on last Sunday, I went to brunch at a lovely place, Acatillo. I don't know if you guys have
Oh, yeah,
been
We
there.
went there once.
Yeah, real good.
I love the
and-
coffee part of that place.
Oh, yeah, very much. It was wonderful. But we went and were joined by Jesse's mom and stepdad. So I get to see them every now and again.
Oh, that's nice.
And they're down here visiting, and it was just a wonderful visit to be able to sit there and enjoy some family friends from back home. So
Oh,
we
how
did
nice.
that, and it was nice outside. Like it wasn't too hot to be
that-
out
it's
on the
that time of
patio.
year.
It's that like we're and then right toward the end. We were like, okay, we gotta go.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
I mean, now we're swamp ass. We gotta go. It's
Yeah.
done. So it just got to be a little much. But that Acatillo is a lovely place.
Yeah,
Lovely,
I
lovely
I don't
place, so.
love their dinner menu.
Yeah,
but
me
I haven't
neither.
been for dinner.
Yeah.
Just the brunch and the coffee stuff.
Oh, and
And-
the coffee's phenomenal.
yeah. So I was not mad about that. Not mad about that at all. So anyway, that's all. Yeah, now you can talk.
I would love to try. I would love to try it for brunch because, like I said, I love the space. It's very pretty. Very
It
We
cool
did
stuff.
we
really
did a
is.
lunch there one day, but I haven't done the brunch yet. You were there with me
Yeah, me and
and
Carlton.
was it Carlton or the Wilk?
Carlton.
Yeah, the brunch it really was very, very good.
And
Everybody
we were
and
there
stuff
right
everybody had.
after they opened, so maybe they've worked some bugs out since we were there.
I mean, the food was good. The menu didn't excite me. It wasn't somewhere like, oh, I want to eat that food again.
Right, and I'm not saying we have to keep going, but the brunch, I would,
Yeah.
in another month or two, like if somebody brought it up, yeah. I mean, it great service.
Yeah, and it's
it
a
was good, and I think that was the thing with the Kinks. We've tried to go there, maybe 2-3 times, and
Where?
to Acatillo.
Oh,
to
sorry.
work out the Kinks. I
Right.
just think
Oh no!
that
I mean, we
where
had
you
good
just
service.
start-
It was just the menu was just kind of
Yeah.
just kind of laid
right,
there.
right.
That there was nothing. The food wasn't
Like
bad.
New
it just,
Jersey.
Just
laid there and
just
took
laid
it.
there like Jersey.
Yeah.
And
They closed the bridge.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
bridge or
It's
gate.
fine. Yeah. So the end.
Oh yeah, busiest
Busy.
fucking. And I forgot last week just to say that on the Saturday of the busiest fucking first part of this 2-week cycle was Amy Schumer, who
Yes.
was very funny. Or maybe I did say, but anyways, very
I feel
funny.
like you did say.
I don't
I
recall
feel like
if
that
you
was
said that
2
last week.
weeks ago.
Because he went last Saturday before.
Yeah, the AIDS walk. It
AIDS
was like
walk.
the night before. Because I saw you the next morning.
Oh,
so we
because I
talked
saw you
about
at
it.
AIDS Walk.
Yeah. So I mean, so she's funny if she's coming near you.
Go see her.
Filthy, dirty. Like it was filthy.
Like it should be,
Like I honestly was like, wow, that's raunchy.
Okay.
And
but not offended.
no,
Were
no,
you
no, no.
offended?
You can't
No, but
offend, you can barely
it's
offend
one
Al.
of those
He
things
waited,
where
I thought, wow.
you got to really think about who you're bringing with you.
Sure.
Like, because that just got, wow, that's graphic.
Off the rails.
Yeah, off the rails. And then this week and then it was like days and night shifts all last week, just bullshit.
Yeah,
And
because you
then-
were doing the days stuff, and
Yeah.
now you're done with that piece, right?
Oh, praise Jesus
Yes.
till next year. But so like last Thursday it was like a 20-hour day. It was just redonkulous.
Okay.
But this Sunday I woke up and this time we went to Sanctum of Horror. I think it was called Sanctum of Horror in way out in Superstition Springs Mall in the Sears parking lot. I'm like, well, the Sears is empty. Why don't we haunt that place up? But so that was funny, and it was a bunch of people that I used to work with, some people I work with now, their kids that I've all gotten. Now we've all worked together. So the one kid who's 15 is 6'6".
Oh, got
or
it.
just shy
Sure.
of 6'6". And I was like, I didn't realize he was that old. She's like, he's not. He's 15. And I'm like, how tall is he gonna get?
Yeah.
And is this a kid that you've probably known since he was a little kid?
Well, a few years, and then another
Okay.
one that was a little kid. I ended up with his mom, who's my good friend Jenny, and her son and her son's friend, and they're like both 13, and they were funny. Like she had shown him, Amina had sent those auto-corrected texts with about the cock and the stuff about sending the dirty stuff, and you're sending it to your mother, not to your date. And so she had found it funny, showed it to these two boys. They were finding it funny. We were just kind of laughing, and then we're in the line, we get divided into groups. So I went with the four of them in the last group, and they're like, well, who's going to go first? The first time my friend Jenny went first, I'm like, I'm not doing it. Right. And then her son was like, Mom, you went too slow through that one. And she's like, well, then you go first. She's like, I'm not doing it. So I'm like, all right, I'll go first this time. Well, because there's like 2 haunted houses next to each other. So the second one, we get to a room, and it looks like a Dexter kill room with the blood splatter and everything. And I was just like, my nerves were fried. It was really hot Sunday night.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday night
It was
at
warm.
8:30. It was still like above 80. And so I was sweating, and like my heart was racing, and we got to that room, and I was just done. And I literally pulled this kid, Rocco, 13 years old, and threw him in front of me.
Take one for the team.
Just
Listen.
catapulted him into the next room. And then I finally got back in front, and the last thing, I walked in and did the Silence of the Lambs thing. Why you dead, Clarice? Yeah, I didn't check my corners, so I always check my corners when I'm entering the haunted house to figure out where they're hiding. And I saw where the guy with the chainsaw was hiding, and I saw him, and he saw me make contact, so he wasn't going to jump out on me.
Right.
So I just started running and left them. So we get out, and Jenny's like, okay, no hero here. She's like, you just ran. And I almost threw a garbage can in front of them to make sure that they died and I lived. And then as we're like saying like, oh, it was nice, we got a picture taken as a group, and then because I think there was like 16 of us, we got our picture taken as a group, and then we were all saying goodbye, and I was being nice to the 2 young men, and I was like, it was very nice to meet you. And he goes, you threw me in front of you. And I'm like, oh, I told you Operation Human Shield was coming. It's your fault for not paying attention to the fair warning I gave you.
Well, because you know what they say. You don't have to be the fastest. Just don't be the slowest.
You're right.
That's right.
Second slowest is fine. You
Yeah.
still
Right.
live.
You still live.
Oh, so I mean, that really was very funny. And
I
then
haven't been to one of those in years. Like,
I missed last
Years.
year because they switched the date, but this was
Right.
because we've done The Nest, we've done 13th Floor, we've done
Right.
Fear Farm, and now we did Sanctum of Horror. And
Okay.
it really is fun, and it gets your heart racing, and you're kind of running through.
Oh,
and
totally. There was
the
one
actors
out-
that are in there were really, really good this year.
Okay.
The actors really got the job done.
Sure.
And
there was one that was out like the 101 in Thomas, sorry, like Scottsdale-ish for further south Scottsdale, a few years ago.
Every year I arrive tired. My car just the navigation just takes me there, beeps when we're there, and we're done.
Well, we went in and it was far too real, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And I just kind of laughed because I always kind of take the role on of you'll be fine, I'll protect you. No, I won't anymore. You know, like I just and then I lost my mind.
That's
you'll
how
be fine.
Fear Farm 2 years ago was a little
done,
much, and
done.
that went on too long. And you went into trailers.
Okay, right.
Like they had it really
right.
set up. They had a lot of space, so you like walked out of something and into
Yes.
a trailer and through like. And they had the one scene from Seven set up with the dead fat guy with his face in the bowl of SpaghettiOs. Like, like it was really good. And this one, we walked into a room and the girl scared us. And I was like, Jesus! And she goes, "There's no Jesus here. Jesus
done.
is gone." And so I'm with, I know my friend and her son are Catholic, and I could see both of them like, so now I feel wrong. And like the one guy like shook his head like flash dance and like sprayed us with water because they can't touch you, but they get pretty close.
Sure.
And he was like he was like in like dead drag.
Okay.
And then so he like shook his head and like was scaring my friend. He's like, "You want a kiss?
Oh God.
Aren't I a pretty girl?"
No, I'm fine.
And I was like, and he's like all covered in blood and gore, and I was like, okay, this is getting.
Yeah.
That's what we started. We're like, all right, we're going to Operation Human Shield.
Right. Well, and when you're looking at other people,
You've had a full life at 13. You're good.
Right. You've been happy. You look around at the people that are in there that are just part of the scene as you start to walk through, and you think they're gonna jump out. That fucker's gonna jump out. I know it. See, you stop paying attention to this one.
Right, where they're really going to jump out.
Yeah, and they mix it up enough that, oh hell. We went to one at the state fair when I'm little. I was probably 6, something like that. And Mom and a couple of friends, and we go to walk through there. And like you said, they're not supposed to touch you. Well, they were underneath this bridge with all that kind of whatever smoke and this and that. And hands would come up out of the water. Okay, fine, scary. Well, for a 6-year-old, I was terrified. But then they came up and they grabbed Mom by the ankle. And they're not supposed to do this stuff. Oh my God, that person might still be in the hospital. Because Mom's all, wow, I mean, just done. But that'll learn him. Don't do that. But that touching, like even just the water,
they told us as we went in, like, don't touch them. They're not allowed to touch you. Because some places will say they can touch you.
Yeah.
And there was one in Niagara Falls, Ontario, at Maple Leaf Village. Of course, they have something called Maple Leaf Village. Syrup is us. And it was called Nightmares. And this was one that had because it was in what I guess would have been a shopping mall. I can't remember what Maple Leaf Village was supposed to be, but it had started to fail.
Retirement community.
Yeah. So
Shady Pines of Canada.
So you went up stuff and you went
Joey's
over
been
like
there.
a catwalk and and through all this really weird shit. And people they would have wet sponges and touch you and
Oh, no.
but it was all in the dark, and if you got freaked out you had to yell out nightmares. That was the gimmick, and they would come and get you and walk you out, and they must have been wearing night vision because it was so dark in there. I don't know how they found it, or it could have just been me, nightmare. So the first time I didn't make it through.
They asked him to leave, actually, because he was screaming like that.
Due to the lack of witnesses,
him.
we might never be sure how that went down.
We like to turn up all the lights so that the screaming woman can leave.
The clearly distressed,
Right.
screaming woman can go.
Ma'am, do you need a paramedic?
The second time I was brave and I made it through. But the Haunted Mansion in Disney World, the first time I went, I didn't make it past the when the guy slams open the doors and welcomes him into the foyer and the picture started going. I was like, I went out, stop it now. And they were like, oh, nope, not gonna be fine. I think I was 12 years old. I'm like, end the ride, open the doors. And they're like, all right, well, let you out. And then my dad made fun of me for the whole night.
Oh,
Well,
no.
sure.
So the next day I went through and I made it. And then I was like, oh, that was because it's actually funny.
It's very funny
But
and
it's
fun.
just it
yeah.
just looks so scary
Well, in that first
at
room
first.
when the walls start to climb up, or
But
I
the
guess
guy
you're going
like
down in an
slammed
elevator.
open the doors, and I was like, "Oh no!" And I didn't know what it was gonna be. And then I found out, it's this delightful ride where you see yourself in the mirror with a ghost, and they combined a roller coaster in there because I'm not afraid of that. So I was very happy I went the second time. But my dad all day long made fun of me.
While you were talking about that, you were talking about how long you've been since you'd been through it's almost been 40 years since I've
Okay.
been to a haunted house, and that's not long enough.
Yeah, because you're not.
I
good
do
at
not
that.
care for that.
Yeah.
There's enough things in everyday life scary enough. I don't need to pay to be scared.
Just turn on CNN.
Just
I
like
totally
right,
get it.
like no, I'm good. I mean, I watched This Is Life with Lisa Ling when she goes into a fucking morgue, and that's bad
You're
enough.
right,
Like,
you're
oh, nope, I'm good.
Yeah. No, that's I understand. I understand. We would go with we'd have a big group, and we'd have Batman and Robin and have Dale. Oh my God, Dale, who's scared to death of clowns, and yet he would go. And
There was no clowns in that either. There were no clowns.
Smart this year, especially this year. But it was just hysterical. Like, because you'd just be laughing at them like it's no big deal. And then all of a sudden someone would go, and there's a chainsaw by and then I'd pee myself.
Oh, and the guy
it
that
was
had
fine.
the chainsaw couldn't get the sparks. Like, he kept dragging it on the ground, but he couldn't get the sparks to go, and I could tell he was working on it.
He was
Oh,
trying.
that's unfortunate. It worked in rehearsal.
I'm sure he was so disappointed too.
But they,
I'm sure he was.
they used to save that for the end. Like, especially at that
chainsaw?
Nightmare's place. Like, they would save that, but now they wander around with it outside,
Right.
when you're in line, the people in costume are walking around outside, and then they come and, like, they work their way into your group and scare you from behind. Like, all of a sudden you turn around and it's not the person you thought you were talking to. It's one of them. And the one guy had a fantastic Joker, and it was makeup with prosthetics. So he was part, and I know none of you guys will know this, but somebody listening might. It was part the clown from the Year of American Horror Story, the carnival year with the serial killer that had the clown face.
Okay.
But just the smile, like this part.
Yeah.
And it was just all done with makeup. There was no mask on. So it was like part Joker, part the serial killer clown from American Horror Story. And that was really good. Like, I wanted to be like, can we just take a second and enjoy your makeup?
Sure.
Right.
It's
Because it
fabulous.
looked like a mask. And then as he came up and he kept, like, walking by us and stuff, I'm like, holy shit, that's all makeup. And maybe a little prosthetic right here to get the... And somebody's going to tell me, is this called a Glasgow smile? Where they used to slice the people's lips right here, and that's what the
I don't
Joker
know.
has.
Yeah, I know. Shut up.
Oh.
So what'd you do? Besides avoid children.
Oh, well, that was just yesterday. The typical weekend, Halloween weekend, all the bars go
Yes.
nuts. Glasgow Smile. The BS West Halloween show was Saturday night, so my entire Saturday was spent setting up, wiring, prepping for that, and then staying there all evening to babysit, and then
And I thought about you because I was just around the corner from there.
oh,
Yeah, I was over at Cowboy Chow.
okay, gotcha, right there on.
Literally.
So went through that, and then by the time tear down, everything's done. I got in. I literally was crawling in bed at 10 minutes to 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. Woke up at 3 in the afternoon, and then never left the house, and basically never left the recliner.
That's how that's supposed to work.
I caught up
God
on
intended.
DVR stuff. I didn't even have to order food in. It was nice. I answered a couple phone calls that I had to because clients text me. But other than that, I just zeroed out, watched some TV. I actually watched an Addams Family movie, which it's like, oh, I'm watching a movie. That's odd. So I watched
for
that.
you.
Yeah.
Of all the movies that you could have picked.
It was just on.
No,
It hap-
fabulous.
happened-
Yeah,
He,
it was
just
he
on.
picked one that was
Okay.
15 years old.
Yeah.
That's true.
It was actually
Are your
1991.
cookies
Yeah.
made of real Girl Scouts?
Yeah, that was actually the one. Yes. So it was an
That
enjoyable.
is a good one.
But then I caught up on a lot of DVR things, watched a couple PBS specials that I thought were interesting. I don't know if any of you would have any interest in it. The Highwaymen, which was the group that was Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, and Chris Christopherson that toured the world 4 times. Very interesting.
Oh, I didn't realize
very
that.
interesting story about all of them. I didn't know some of the stuff that they had done with it, but it was very cool. One of the things I learned about that was Chris Christopherson, when they would pull off like on tour, they would stop at a truck stop to eat. Like that was one of the things. Christopherson would get on the highway that they were going to go down later. He would start running, and he would run down the highway, and then they would pick him up an hour and a half later.
like Forrest Gumping it. Like,
No, he just that was his workout. Like they would.
Oh.
That was his daily. He would run every day. So they would
wow.
he would pull off and run an hour plus down the highway, and they would pick him up. I'm like, Who would
Is
ever
that where
thought
they
that?
got the rolling down the highway
No, I don't
and
think
kind
they
of
did.
maybe
I
that's
don't think
something
they
else?
did. I
Okay,
have
well,
no-
I don't know.
And I mean, the amount of
don't know.
songs that guy wrote is just
Right.
staggering.
Oh, and
It
then I heard
is.
this. Then there was an
Yeah.
interesting story about him working as a janitor in the recording studio in Nashville, where Johnny Cash was recording, and how he got discovered through Johnny Cash. It just was a very interesting story about how all of that came to be. And like you said, like he'd written so many songs.
Oh yeah, and every time you hear another one, you're like, that one too, really?
In fact,
All the
Willie
songs?
Nelson even said in the documentary, he was like, "How did I not write Bobby McGee? How did I not do that?"
Yeah, Chris. In case you're wondering,
He's like,
Chris
it's
Christopherson wrote me and Bobby McGee. Like, I mean, it just goes.
It goes way back. Like his songs.
And one of
so
them
many.
wrote "Crazy" by Patsy Cline, and I.
Oh, that's Willie.
Yeah, I always forget if it's Willie Nelson or Chris Christopherson.
it's
Like
Willie Nelson.
There's
Oh,
so
I
many
didn't
songs
realize
that
that.
one or the other wrote
Okay.
them. Yeah, one or the other had their hands on it.
Also, a hit by Roy Orbison, "Pretty Paper."
Okay.
Willie Nelson wrote that.
Oh.
Yeah, so many songs. Anyway, but it's such a lot of talent. So I just enjoyed it, just to listen to the songs again, and so that was kind of cool. So was my Sunday, and then yesterday was Halloween. Ran errands, did stuff, yada yada yada. I mowed the yard, exciting stuff. So.
It is exciting.
And then, of course, for those of you listening, and we've talked about it. Hopefully, it all will come to a successful end. A week from tonight, we will be in Studio C right here where you are. We are sitting in with some special guests. Katie June is supposed to be with us. The Wilk,
exciting.
Jason Carlton will be here. So it'll be a full house.
Has anyone considered the logistics? Where are all these people going to go? Are we going to have a
1,
satellite
2,
office?
3. Yes. Some will just be in the dining room.
Can we just hook them up in the kitchen cam?
Right. Well, it's going to be very busy, I'm sure.
It is very
Carlton
busy.
will probably be he'll probably be a bartender. And then probably well before the end of the show, he'll probably be passed out laying down here. Just a
Okay.
guess.
That feels good. That
Or
feels-
in the living room. I'm not sure. Somewhere.
can we? I feel like we should put an old time like newspaper hat on him and give him a little notebook and make him run back and forth with notes. Can we do that to Jason Carlton? Can we make
I'm going
him?
to put you in charge of that.
Can we make him the intern?
That's funny.
I'm
That makes me happy.
The
Carlton,
intern.
your
Yeah.
intern.
With a little paper in the brim that says news.
Can we have like a little thing right here, Carlton?
Like on Rhoda.
Yeah,
Carlton.
Get Lorenzo
Yeah.
music to play that.
this is Carlton, your doorman.
Yeah. Yes.
It's too old for some people to understand. I get it. I
But the
understand.
start of the whole
It's
characters that are not seen, like, and I don't think Rhoda is James Burrows. I mean, I'm sure at some
it's the other
point.
thing I watched.
But like the Cheers with Vera never being seen, and on Frasier we never saw Maris. Like you never saw Niles' wife. Like
Right.
Carlton is the start of those characters that you know that they exist,
Right.
but you don't ever see
but you
them.
never see them.
Yeah.
And Carlton was actually one of the original writers and producers of the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
I didn't realize
And
that.
his name was Lorenzo Music. He was the voice of Garfield the cat.
Sure. Oh, that's right.
No, and I feel
That
like
is correct. Yep.
he was one of the first like out gay
Oh, that I don't know.
Hollywood
the
people.
other special I watched.
I always knew Garfield.
The
was gay.
PBS specials I was watching, and I've got 2 more recorded. It's called American Masterpiece, is what I believe it's what it's called. The other one that I watched, which was again crazy and interesting to watch, was the one on Norman Lear.
Okay.
Writer of, every show that was ever great in the 70s and early 80s, All in the Family, Good Times, Maude. I'm spacing on other ones that he did, but it was a really interesting
Archie Bunker
documentary.
Did you say that?
Yeah, All in the
Sorry.
Family.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just very interesting to see how he came up with stuff and what his background was. It was just very, very cool.
Sure.
So was very happy to see that.
He was on CNN with Don Lemon, and it was. I'm gonna kind of go with kitschy, but kind of cute. He was talking about what do you think? How do you think Archie would feel about
Oh,
this?
today.
Yeah, and with everything going on and the fact that it's a woman and Don Lemon was like, how would he and Edith be going back and forth? I mean, it was just kind of cute way to look at this fictitious thing, but how Norman Lear kind of saw that. And at the end, Don Lemon made me laugh because he was really trying to push it. You could tell he always wanted to sing the song from All in the Family.
Right.
And
Those
he's
were the
like,
days.
Son of a bitch! I've got Norman Lear here. So and so they sang it back and forth, and then he went into Edith. Oh God, it was fantastic. So it was real cute.
One of the interesting things I learned from that documentary was specifically Carol O'Connor, who played Archie Bunker. obviously an established actor at the time when he came into the series, used to go back and forth with Norman Lear on what he thought would work and what didn't. And Norman often had to fight him to be like, it will work. I swear to you. It will
Oh, yeah,
work.
because he didn't want to play somebody so unlikable.
Right. And in one of them, one of the I guess the entire scene, I need to go back and look at it. One entire episode of All in the Family, it's all shot in an elevator. It's where the baby is born in the elevator. So Archie Bunker walks up and there's a black guy, and of course he has an issue with that.
Sure.
They go in the elevator and this couple walks in who she's pregnant, and the elevator I think gets stuck.
Okay.
So
And she's Jewish or something.
but anyway, so the baby is going to be born, and Carol O'Connor was like, "This will not play at all, trust me." And Norman Lear was like, "It will," and sure as hell, it did exactly what, because he knew what Carol O'Connor had in him as far as an actor was concerned. So
geez.
the reactions, like he said Carol O'Connor got emotional during the scene because you never see the baby, you just hear it, and Carol was playing to whatever in his mind he was creating. It was fast, and then he showed it, and then Norman Lear is like crying watching the scene.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was just like, it worked. I knew it worked. It was very cool.
The very first episode of that show where Sally Struthers gets married, right? Sally Struthers?
Yeah. Yep.
Where she gets married and he
Mike.
tells her, if this, it's just like summer camp. If it doesn't work, just come home. And it was just heartbreaking of like this, this guy that they just played off as being so hard and screaming and yelling and everything, and then he just has that little quiet moment with his daughter for like 5 seconds, and it breaks your heart because it really just, he is just a great performer, and that show just gets you because every once in a while Archie has a little
They
bit
show
of heart.
the heart. Great show.
Yeah, really was.
Oh, and in the whole uproar, which I never remembered hearing about with regards to Good Times, how even the Black, I believe it was the Black Panthers, marched into Norman Lear's office in CBS and came at him with regards to the show, and the mediation between them and him. That's where the Jeffersons came from, because they were like, you're painting us in the wrong light. We need something to be inspirational about. So that's what the Jeffersons, because they'd moved up.
So they're moving on up.
Yeah, that
right?
they weren't all poor, and then
Right.
Happy Days was made to counter Good Times. They wanted a show about white people.
Like
I didn't know
average,
that.
Like
kind
average
of-
white people, and Fonzie had to make sure that whatever he said didn't sound like dynamite. Like they needed him to, because he was always supposed to be in one, just like
Okay.
it was supposed to be a small part. He didn't
Right.
wear a leather jacket the first episode.
season.
He's in like a white coat or something like that, and they had to work on what his catchphrase would be,
Sure.
and how he could say it and not have it sound like dynamite. Like
Oh, I didn't realize any
yeah,
of
there's
that.
a whole I saw a whole thing about that once
Oh,
about
interesting.
Happy
Cool.
Days being counter programming by ABC.
I still will never understand, and I've not ever read or found anything about Chuck.
What happened to Chuck? Yeah.
The oldest brother. Does that even mean anything to you?
On Happy Days?
On Happy
Yeah.
Days, right? There was
Between the pilot and the show, they lose a son.
Yeah, like,
Because he just didn't test very well.
Yeah.
and that's just it. But he
Sad
was
about
on
it.
there,
Sad about
and then you're like, well, did he go to war?
Well, they kind
Is
of.
that kind of the
I think at one
they
point they were
alluded
like,
to
"Oh,
that?
He's the eldest Osborne child. He refused to sign the release. And so
Right.
they
Yeah.
just edited
That's
him
true.
out.
That's true.
Nobody even knows what her name
Yeah.
is.
He's
Everybody
sick.
knows Jack and Kelly, but there's an
Sure.
older daughter
Right, an
that
older
you
daughter
never saw.
that said no.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't want.
I think
any
she's
part
in.
of your
I think
crazy.
she's in one episode, but they don't show her, and she doesn't
Right.
talk.
She's
Sure.
blurred
There's like
out.
a wedding episode or
Something,
something.
yeah. She happens to be in the deal.
And Lorenzo music was straight. My bad.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, there's that. Okay, we burned the first hour. We're going to come back. We got the drinking words coming up immediately after this, and then headlines are on their way. So stick around. It's Q Talk America.
Hey girl, you okay?
You're listening to Q Talk America.
Are you ready for this? It's a 30-second dance break.
This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
And now, a drink along. We dare you to stay awake during this royalty-free music and to play a drinking game with us. If you are currently or soon to be driving a car, you cannot play. If you are presently the primary caregiver for children and or the elderly, you may desperately want to play, but no. If you are listening from a rehab facility, you are disqualified because you already hit bottom. And that means you already won this game at least once. If playing this game is in any way illegal for you, put the bottle down and make better life choices. There is no good in your goodbye, and there is no lifeguard on duty, so you will be swimming at your own risk. Tell your lawyer to take the fucking day off. You can't sue us. We warned you. Good luck.
Oh, a drinking word. Again.
It'd be nice if we had one. I mean,
But why?
It could just be drank.
I know.
There you go.
What do you got?
Drank.
Drank.
Wow.
Nicely done.
Wow.
Wait, so how is that going to work?
Drank.
All right,
Let me-
okay.
Is
Let's
that
review.
spelled DRANK?
Traditional spelling.
Clearly, the traditional spelling. yeah.
Clearly.
Drank.
Usually found in grape.
Well, then we're going to need reinforcements.
Oh gosh, she's got some reinforcementos.
Well, because I went to dinner before here, and I knew I wasn't going to have time to pick up liquor, so.
Nice.
Packed a cooler, yeah. Wow.
What a girl. My
Got
God.
the thermos.
Going fishing,
smart.
going to the show, whatever it takes.
She's ready to go. Okay, so the drinking word is drank.
Got the worms right in there.
Traditional spelling.
Nice.
And here we go. It's a look at some headlines coming up from Marnie and me, if we can get through it on this Tuesday night. Show 282, November 1st, 2016. It's all in the name.
Go fuck yourself.
Break in for a good cause?
A black doctor?
People with glass eyes.
Upside down rainbow flag.
T-Rex cheerleaders.
Lenny and Pearl.
Denmark
sorry.
bus promotes U.S. voting. And hopefully we haven't stepped on each other, but we'll get through it somehow. It's headlines on a Tuesday. Welcome to it. Drink!
Drank.
Drank.
Forgot. Pressure.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
It's
What?
very bossy. That
What?
It is very bossy. Drank.
Drank.
Command form.
It is.
Now, bitches.
Well, I have a lovely picture to go along with it. We'll get ready for this. It's exciting.
May I have a napkin?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
You read.
Napkin Controls by Al Perkins. A rapper whose
Thank you, sir,
songs
Warman.
include titles such as Sell Drugs, D-R-U-G-Z, traditional spelling.
Duh.
He's been charged with selling drugs in Pennsylvania. 29-year-old Michael Persaud, you tell me how you'd say this, P-E-R-S-A-U-D.
Drank.
Prasad.
Persaud. Michael Persaud performs under the name Montana Mills. That is his rapper name. The Lebanon County, Pennsylvania District Attorney says Persaud and a female accomplice sold heroin to an undercover police officer during a month-long investigation. The district attorney says that they sold 70 bags of heroin to an undercover officer in Lebanon and were arrested on October 28th. The district attorney says police raided the couple's hotel room and found more than 2 ounces of heroin, worth about $11,500. Jeezy Pete's. The two suspects were both from Johnson, Rhode Island. They do remain in jail. Online court records do not list an attorney for them, and investigators say his online mixtape also includes songs called Gunplay and Armed and Ready. Now, just in case you're wondering what a gentleman who might have these songs looks like, look at that arrest picture. He might be stoned or out of it right there.
Oh, very, yeah.
Slightly.
Just a guess.
a bright day.
These are guesses. It's exciting for them.
Well, go fuck yourself. Drank.
Oh.
Oh.
Dear
I
Jesus.
nearly spilled my beer.
You just
very
sent,
startling.
You just sent me something.
It's very
I-
bossy
well-
where you are.
I sent you 2 things. The first one is the one I need.
For when?
Just a picture. Whatever.
Oh, it's just a picture?
Yeah, the first one's just a picture.
All right.
The second one is not. What?
When do we need these things?
The one you can put up whenever. The picture.
Drink.
The go fuck yourself.
Production meetings are very important.
But
So-
it's good that they happen in real time.
Live production meetings here on Q Talk
Yeah.
America.
Well, we have discussed
The producer saw
Buffalo,
me
New
my ear
York. Buffalo, New York before.
Oh, this
And
one.
on Sunday, someone decided to tell Buffalo or the Patriots to go fuck themselves by throwing a dildo onto the field.
Oh,
during-
very nice. Good
Oh, I
choice.
heard about
the
this.
Buffalo
Facebook told me
Bills.
about this.
during the Buffalo Bills New England Patriots game. And
There it
New
is.
England,
A bitter rivalry.
A bitter rivalry that Tom Brady, the quarterback for the Patriots, has never lost in Buffalo. Apparently, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
I have a quick question about
Sure,
this.
sure,
It's not two things. I don't want to step
No,
on your
no,
segment,
You,
Kat.
you by all means. There's.
I'm well aware
It's a
that
trademark implied.
the two white marks that are against the sideline, those mark a yard.
Yep.
There's a yard between the two.
Correct.
That's a big dildo.
That's a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
That's all I was trying to observe there.
Is it on the
very good.
ground at this point, or is it mid-flight? Is there a perspective
Oh,
trick
I
that's a
think,
good
I think
call.
it was laying there.
It's a good call. I
Like
do
New
have
Jersey.
I do have video,
Oh,
but
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like New Jersey.
I believe.
It's
Just
just laying
drank
out.
and lay there like New Jersey.
Yeah.
That sounds more like me.
So apparently,
I'm New Jersey.
It was a slight
Fantastic.
because
We'll
once
update
again,
the map.
it reminded the world of its dominance for Buffalo having the weird shit happening on a Sunday market.
Yeah.
So the middle of the play, here comes this dildo. The fine folks over at Uprocks were kind enough to circle the flying sex toy.
In case you couldn't see it in the photo.
case, as
If it didn't draw your attention.
now all the videos were cut off, kind of like a what's her face, the John Wayne Bobbitt kind of like
Snip.
the little Bobbitt thing. We're cut off
Lorena was
before-
her name.
Lorena
And Lorena was her
Correct.
name-o.
drank. But the announcers, because the issue was the announcers were very confused as to what was happening, and that
The
would have been-
cheerleaders, however, were not.
were not. They were like,
It fell right out of one of them, yeah.
They're like, oh no, we shouldn't have done those cartwheels.
Never spring load the dildo and then wear a mini.
Well, and many people, the announcers especially, at first thought a flag had been thrown.
There appears to be
Pick
this
that
just
up and-
in,
Yeah.
flag on the play. Oh no, I'm sorry, dick on the
Yeah,
play.
We got
Yeah.
a cock on the call.
Yeah. Put that in your pants.
You've
know
been
how they
practicing
tuck
that all
back
week,
in?
haven't you?
It's like what's the hand signal for that one? I'm lost.
I mean,
Stroking on the field.
yeah, 10 offensive touch.
Yeah.
So
Depends on who you're in.
Isn't that this? Offensive touch.
offensive touch.
Graham by
I
a
thought
dildo.
this meant too many shoulder pads.
Offensive touch.
We're
Not the
reenacting
80s anymore. It's not the
Dynasty.
80s anymore, yeah.
Outdated suit jackets.
What's this? Linda Evans. Bingo. Drink.
Bingo was her name.
Collins, 84.
I'm with her.
Let's go in the pool. Anyway, but the cheerleaders, the end of the story really was that the cheerleaders then ran off the field after like piling on like
Checking
a
their
rugby.
luggage.
It was like they were
Yeah.
playing rugby, and then
Scrum.
they left, and no one could find the dildo
No,
after that.
still
so
can't
we're
find
not
Oh,
sure.
shocker.
We're not sure. It either got sucked back up or
I
taken
didn't think
off
it
the
had a
field.
shocker.
Take it off the
It's
field.
Sucked back up.
Take it off the field. But you don't know.
That's not how this works.
You don't know.
That's not
The
how
shocker.
any of this works.
It's a different inflate gate.
You don't know.
Deflate gate.
Well, being that Tom was there,
I gotta
you're not
You
sure.
gotta go back to the Shire.
It's terrifying.
Friar cat over there.
Yeah, right.
What the hell?
One ring to rule them all.
Me? Oh, are you the Gap troll from Mad TV that used to, do you remember that?
No.
I don't get that reference either.
You don't? Remember on MTV or Mad TV, they had the Gap troll that was the little woman who played a Gap, and she used to make you guess things and riddles to get into the Gap. Don't you remember that? Never mind. Maybe that's why Mad TV was canceled. I don't know.
Oh, Aaron sent me a drinking word, but I just got it. It should have been nightmares.
Oh, there you go.
I'll accept that one too.
Drink
I
nightmares.
Equally
either
jarring.
Either way.
Equally jarring. Especially if said in the right pitch.
A Kansas State University student claims that he had a Kit Kat candy bar stolen from his car by a hungry thief with a sweet tooth. Hunter Jobbins tweeted a photo of the note purportedly left by
First name Bilbo? What?
the candy burglar. The note says the suspect only the treat and the suspect stole only the treat and nothing else. Here is the note, and we can read along if you'd care to. Saw the Kit Kat in your cup holder. I love Kit Kats, so I checked your door and it was unlocked. Did not take anything other than the Kit Kat. I'm sorry and hungry.
He needed a break.
fantastic.
Yeah.
He did. He wanted to break off a piece.
Give me a break.
of that.
Nightmare.
Cat bar. Drink. I like
I think
it.
you got some on me.
Wow. That's what
I saw
she
an
said.
appropriate place to yell that,
Right?
and I went for it.
Well, let's not fly Delta anymore.
Nope,
Aw.
don't ever leave the airport. Spell it out. That's what that's an acronym for.
Don't ever leave. That's funny.
Oh my God, that is
That's
funny.
really
I've
funny.
never heard
Me
that.
either. That's really good. I like
Doesn't ever leave the airport.
I like that. Well, apparently the plane crew on
Puns from the
board-
90s.
Still funny.
It's very funny. There was an OBGYN who was on the flight. A doctor.
If you will.
If you
You
will.
just verified it, didn't you? You just wrote it down.
I just keep thinking, did anybody in a meeting ever at Delta be like,
Shit.
what are we going to name this fucking airline? Delta. What's it mean? We don't know. And then somebody in the back goes,
Don't ever leave the
ever
airport.
leave the airport.
It's really a warning.
It's also the fourth letter of the Greek alphabet. I'm pretty sure that's where they were going with it.
Oh, it was after a fraternity or a sorority, maybe? Delta after Kappa Kappa Pi, something. I don't know what it is.
I like pie.
I'm going to get more coffee while you read a story.
And that
now
can be
that
used
one's from
in
Veep.
many ways.
That one's from Veep. When the guy running for vice president goes, does anybody else feel like they're in, like, listening to answers to a quiz show that no one asked?
Yeah. That's all.
I like pie.
Just cause. Well, Houston OBGYN, Dr. Tamika Cross, is blowing up Facebook because of a maddening story of prejudice. That she was flying out of Detroit, on a Delta flight, and a man became unresponsive on the plane.
Oh, I did see this one.
And she jumped up. If a doctor is on the flight, I mean, that's like they do. Is there a doctor in the house kind of thing? She jumped up to save him, only to find herself restrained by the flight crew,
Like a nightmare.
who were extremely skeptical that a black woman who had ever set foot in Detroit could be an MD. Okay, maybe that's not exactly how it went down, but that's how she felt about it, for sure. She said... There's a full post, but the basic thing is, I'm sure many of my fellow young corporate America working women of color can all understand my frustration when I say I'm sick of being disrespected. She was on this flight. Someone 2 rows in front of her was screaming for help. This woman who was screaming, her husband was unresponsive. She jumped into doctor mode because no one else was getting up. And
Doctor mode.
right, and got up there and then was restrained by the people. Like, you can't help him. You can't. When a doctor gets up like that, have you ever been on a flight?
Ma'am,
where
voodoo's not going to help him. I need you to
were
sit
on a
down.
flight where someone actually passed, isn't that right?
Right,
Wasn't
but
that-
nobody got, they knew what had happened and just,
just kind of.
Can somebody come pronounce this
Right.
guy? We want to get the drink service going.
Well, there was a flight that I was on where someone had either taken something or
didn't take something.
didn't take something, right? And
It was an episode.
they were very, very calm, the flight
Great.
crew, and just we're just wondering if there's a doctor on the plane that could please come to the back of the craft, whatever. And so they typically handle these things fairly well. I wasn't on Delta though. That might have been why.
Roof stayed on your plane the whole way to
Whole
Hawaii.
time.
Did you tell
Yep.
me?
Well, and we obviously left the airport, but it really
No, it's a
was-
warning. Don't ever leave the airport. It's a warning to you.
Oh, don't ever leave the airport. I don't listen to
Oh, I
shit.
was going with doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
yeah,
You changed
yeah.
the meaning. That works too.
That's what I heard. And we left.
Change the meaning.
And
did, yeah.
apparently it was quite a long post about the fact that what she went through.
And we're making it longer.
Totally. What she went through.
But funnier.
And she had to respond to them because when they said, is there a physician on board?
This is the black 29-year-old girl, and the white
Right.
guy gets up, and they let him deal with it, right?
Well,
Yeah.
the woman said, the flight attendant said, "Wow, you're an actual physician?" She said, "Yes, let me see your credentials," was what was then presented. "What type of doctor are you? Where do you work? Why were you in Detroit?" And she says in her post, "Please remember, this man is still in need of help," and she's blocking my row from even standing up, bombarding her with these questions. How ridiculous, right?
Because nobody wants to stand up.
No. She responded that she is an OBGYN, works in Houston, was in Detroit for a wedding, and believe it or not, they do have doctors in Detroit. She said, "Now, excuse me, so I can help the man in need. But the fact that you'd even have to go through that Because if a white guy stood up, and quite frankly, even if a white gal perhaps stood up, why? What are you doing?
I would have
Like
used my
what?
doctor voice. I'm a doctor.
I
Don't you have a Grey's Anatomy voice? And then it said another
Don't you have
seasoned,
a Grey's Anatomy voice?
quote unquote,
I
seasoned
probably do.
white male.
I'm very much Alex.
Approached the row and says he's a physician as well. She says to me, "Thanks for your help, but he can help us, and he has his credentials." Mind you, he hasn't shown anything to her. Just showed up and fit the description of a doctor, apparently.
Look at his stethoscope. He must be a
Right,
doctor.
right. He must be. So it just,
He's wearing a
it
Hawaiian
really
shirt.
just bothered me in this day and it's 2016.
Yeah,
And I know that there's all this stuff going on with the election, and I know that there's all this craziness, but for fucking real,
right.
I mean,
That still goes down.
how is that still a thing?
And the airline Delta apologized to her, right? Because it
They did. It says in here that the flight attendant came and apologized to me several times, offering Sky Miles. Fuck you. That's like what you see in the commercials where they're like, oh, you can get free milk if it's bad, or you can get a free coffee if it's not fresh. I don't want your free shitty coffee. Why? I don't want your Sky Miles. You can go to hell. She said,
We know how
Wow.
she stands on that.
I mean, for real. Like, you just
was a
disrespect.
nightmare for Marnie.
Do
You
not
just
give her.
disrespected the shit
Yeah.
out of me.
I'm gonna make
and
myself
now,
a note. Do not offer Marnie free things if something
because
goes
you
bad.
just disrespected the shit out of me, and now you think
Check
I'm
milk
gonna come
before
back?
offering to Marnie. No.
Seriously.
And
Or coffee.
Does this smell bad to you?
I don't know. Taste it. It's awful.
This tastes horrible. You taste it.
Everybody does it. Smell this.
It's it says I don't want Sky Miles in exchange for blatant discrimination. Whether this was race, age, gender discrimination, it's just not right. She will not get away with this, stating because what is wrong with that person? The flight attendant. This is dumb.
And 'cause I had this happen on the way back from a vacation a couple years ago where I was exhausted. Like, I had just partied like it was 1999, a little too long. Got on the plane. I think I had a cocktail in the airport and, like, took a Benadryl
Sure.
to sleep through the flight because I was fucking done.
Sure.
And I hear, is there, if there's a doctor on board, could somebody please come up? And I was like, it's going to put, somebody's going to have a shitty flight. And then there's like, is there anyone, an EMT, a nurse?
Can
like
you step forward at that point, having taken something?
Well, that's what my thought was. But so I'm like sitting there like, and when they got down to like, is there an EMT, nurse, anyone with any kind of training?
Anybody with a library card
Yes,
on the
right,
plane,
exactly.
please step forward.
It
And
got
if
down
you're
to,
on-
it got
Is
down
there
to
a
let's make a
lifeguard
deal.
on board?
Yeah.
If you're on Delta, just don't be black.
Yeah.
Please
So
step forward.
And I saw, I started to stand up just as I saw a guy come from first class who I saw with a glass of champagne.
Let him get in trouble.
So, and we went back there and talked and like found out what was wrong. And all of a sudden this pussy like looks at me and he goes, well, I'm going to defer to my colleague here because he has more experience with critically ill people. And I'm like, fuck you, nightmare.
Defer to my colleague.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all of a sudden we were collegial. And I'm like, I don't think so.
I know you, honey.
And yeah, I don't know you.
We've not met.
And it was like seriously stupid when they looked at, and I suggested them like, we're clearly freaking this woman out.
Right.
Like, how about we all go talk in the back? Like, her daughter's here with her. She has oxygen on. Why don't we step away and have a conversation, not over top of her?
Yeah.
Like, let's go have a conversation in the back. And they were like, oh, okay. I'm like, and someone can maybe relay information if something else goes wrong, but we're probably scaring her more that we're talking about her like she's dying in front of her.
Don't
So-
talk about me like I'm not here.
Yeah, I mean, in case she goes all Julia Roberts on our asses.
Drink your juice.
Drink
Drink your juice.
Drink your juice, Shelby.
Don't you
Drink.
die on me, Shelby.
Well, it is a brown football helmet.
Open your eyes, Shelby. Open
Ooh,
your eyes.
Open your eyes, Shelby.
Does
Open
your
your
dress
eyes.
have to go over your hair?
I just want to hit something.
So then it weighs us.
Hit Waza.
So then the flight attendant looks at me and goes, well, she's kind of using all the oxygen. I'm like, well, I don't think anybody else on the flight's going to need oxygen. She's like, no, for all of us.
Oh.
Like when those masks come down, they're only good for like 10,000 or 30,000 to
right,
like
down to whatever
whatever is a breathable altitude. It's not meant to last very long.
No.
So she's like, oh
That's
no, we're about to
uncomfortable.
like be too low on oxygen. She's like, do you think we should ditch the flight and and call for a landing. I'm like, I am not making that decision. That's when I looked at the fucking retard doctor. Sorry.
Your colleague.
You sounded so sincere.
He was not.
Your colleague tard.
Nightmares.
The colleague tard. Better.
The traditional pronunciation.
Traditional spelling. And that's when he pulled out the colleague card of like, I'll defer to my colleague here. And I was like, oh no.
I took a Dramamine.
Yeah.
And I'm angry.
And not the awake kind.
The other kind.
But that's when the flight attendant came back and was like, I was like, well, how's she doing on the less oxygen? He's like, oh, less oxygen. He's like, I turned it off. I'm like, so you have a mask over her face and no oxygen on? So now she's just breathing in CO2.
So it's like a placebo. It's a placebo now.
Well, no, now she's breathing in CO2. She's going to lose consciousness.
She passes out.
Like,
Can't really placebo the oxygen mask here, friends.
Well, I think she's going to be okay if she's been sitting there with something like this and no oxygen going in.
If she passes out, she'll actually breathe less.
Oh, that was, and then I got back and I asked people I worked with, like, and does this happen? Like, do they ever get down to our level? Like, do they ever go past, no doctor steps forward except for this fucktard from Scottsdale? And everybody had a horror story to share about being on a plane. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got off easy.
Oof.
Somebody did chest compressions for like an hour and a half till the plane landed, and I'm like, oh, no.
Not today, Satan.
Not gonna happen.
Fortunately, I have no talents that would ever be called upon during a flight, I think.
No.
Well, unless
is there
at
anyone who can make a
studios-
vodka
yeah.
tonic on this plane? Oh,
yeah.
I'm happy to, sure.
I can't
you
make
could-
one, but I'll drink one of them. Thank you very much.
I'm willing to be a judge in this contest.
Maybe
Ladies and gentlemen, we need a perfect 3-count pour. Is anyone there? Anyone there?
Now, if ever on a flight they call for somebody to do Elmo's voice, I could probably
There you
step
go.
up for that. But other than that, I got nothing for
Well,
you.
unless Edge Studios gets
This
onto
is your
the
captain
planes,
speaking. We have an Elmo emergency.
Could somebody
we have
come
a
to the
small
flight?
child.
We have a
who's
child that
screaming.
can only be talked down by a tickle or an Elmo.
Oh, well,
depending on
that's
your
uncomfortable.
age and gender,
Status.
we may go with Elmo and not the tickle.
And depending on, if you're supposed to stay 500 feet away from
This
a
went to an
child.
awkward place really fast. Next caller.
It did go ugly.
Drank.
Well, tickle me, Elmo. Come on. Of course he was going to end up in prison.
I know.
What did he end up in prison
God, I
for,
fucking
though?
love that.
I don't think there
remember.
really ever was a prison.
Okay.
I don't think.
So he's not enjoying a Subway sandwich with Jared?
I don't think so.
No, I don't believe so. Over in lovely Denmark, the Scandinavian nation's Socialist People's Party is behind an ad
They gotta shorten that down.
which urges.
Is there an
It
acronym
reminds
you
me
could
of Ted
use?
Kirby.
Delta.
The Scandinavian Socialists.
I added the over in Denmark part. The story starts: the Scandinavian nation's Socialist People's Party
SSPP.
is behind the ad campaign.
Yeah, you
which
know me.
is behind the ad campaign, which urges Americans based abroad to vote in the upcoming presidential election. While it doesn't explicitly urge people to vote for Trump's Democratic rival Hillary Clinton, the hilarious and somewhat hypnotic effect of the spinning wheels of a bus in the city makes it pretty clear who the party's favorite choice is. Let's cut to the shot of the bus going down the street. The party's
That's
leader,
funny.
Pia Dyer, said the Danish campaign was meant to be a bit funny, but she described the thought of Trump becoming president as quite frightening.
Americans abroad.
I just think that's
That
kind
is
of funny.
I like that.
He's got a lot of eyeliner on, apparently.
And yeah,
Wheels on the bus go
Round and round,
Yeah.
round and round, round and round.
nightmare.
all through the goddamn town.
Bah, bah, bah. So there was Donald Trump. Right. I mean, we're familiar.
Nice
That
segue.
happened.
Nice
Is there
segue.
anyone on a plane who's a crazy cat dude?
Yep.
Meow Cow raised his hand.
Fantastic.
Sheeply.
Donald Trump unfurled a rainbow flag. Did you guys see that?
Oh, I heard, but I haven't read that. I don't know anything else about this. I heard about it.
Because he supports the
harder
gays.
than a man.
Nobody's a
Matador coursing
better
a bull.
friend to the gays. Just ask them.
Well, and
Hashtag
no one
ask the gays.
Ask
and
the
no
gays.
one.
He
no
knows more
one-
about being gay than the gays do.
He does. He does. He could
Trust
teach the,
him.
No
he
one
could
is
teach
better.
The gays.
No one is better at the gays.
Yeah.
Nobody.
He could teach the gays a thing or two. I bet.
Because he's the best.
Well,
He owns all of Judy Garland's stuff. All of it.
and wears it sometimes.
no one is a bigger Judy Garland.
Nobody.
No one.
Also, just like with women, I mean, no one
No one
respects
respects
women
women
more,
more. No one.
or
Just
the
ask him.
gays.
Just
Yeah.
ask him. He's
Wrong.
right there.
Wrong.
Pointing it out to you right
Yep.
there.
So he goes to in one of the more bizarre moments of his campaign, because there haven't been enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Mike Pence's
tell them
running
apart.
mate does this.
Donald
Isn't
Trump
that frightening?
unfurled a large rainbow flag that had the words LGBTs for Trump scribbled across it shortly after walking on stage in Greeley, Colorado, except the flag was upside down. And the rainbow flag, for those that may not be aware, has a series of 6 stripes, all representing very specific, having specific meanings. The top stripe is red, symbolizing life. The bottommost stripe is violet, symbolizing spirit. Trump's flag was upside down, even though the handwriting was right side up.
So no, Violet's a top. And she
Violet
is not
is
okay
a
with
top.
that. Yeah.
She-
Violet, you're
I
turning
want my
violets.
Oompa Loompa now. In other words, whoever scribbled it,
The rest of the show we brought to you in British.
correct.
Want to start a band?
Stop that.
Hello, Cleveland.
Oh no.
We're getting the band back together. Now I've lost it.
It's been a hard day's night. It has, hasn't it?
Governor.
Governor,
It's really
I'm going home with my pussy.
it's
Put your
astonishing
wiener in your pants.
for such a small, relatively small nation how many accents there are.
We're all from different
when
areas.
you try to do a British accent.
They're dialects.
Astonishing to me.
Fun fact.
2 things.
2 things. Because of the weird map that we use where things in the northern hemisphere look bigger and things in the southern hemisphere look smaller.
Yeah.
Did you know that Great Britain is really the size of California?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. No, I would not have known that.
Wow, they do a
You know
lot.
how they do that thing where they move things around on a map to show you that like all of North and South America could fit into Africa?
Well, because there's that thing where they kind of
Is it called the Mercator map? Mercator map?
First time I ever saw that was on the West Wing.
And I can't remember. And it throws things off size-wise. And so they'll put things next to each other to show you, like, on a map that's not stretched out.
the square footage is basically the same.
Yeah, that you don't see. It's not to scale.
Okay.
Like when
That's
Jonah
interesting.
says me and the president are like this, it's not to scale.
No. Mm-mm. No. Not even a little bit. It's good. That's good.
That's funny.
So back to Donald, because
Must
like
we?
you do. Well, he took the flag. Well, because it's just it's such a typical setup. Like it was fairly easy to tell that this was conveniently placed.
Yeah.
He took the flag from the supporter who was just happened to be right up front. Near the stage, making it seem as if he simply saw it in the crowd and wanted to take the sun onto stage.
He grabs the flag and yells, "No homo!
No,
I love the gays. No homo!
No homo.
No homo!
Oh, I do miss that trend.
No homo!"
No homo.
So he just unfolded it the minute it was given to him. The flag was all folded up. He just unfolded it the minute that it was given to him, and the piece that kind of said this is probably a setup is that as he unfolded it, he had no way of knowing anything was written on it, or for him what was written on it.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Reading is hard.
Well, or if it just said, "Fuck you, Trump," like that would have been awesome. That would have been awesome.
No one fucks you, Trump, better than he does.
Well, he's the best.
He's the best.
He's the best at that. Because unless he knew ahead of time that someone would be handing him the flag, and then he would be unfurling it, and there would be something written on it, there was no way. And then he just walked back and forth on the stage, and took in the glory of look at how I am with the gays. It was almost
From
like
a crowd that would beat up a gay.
absolutely.
Oh,
and
my God.
it was almost like and then he hands it back to the guy like, "Good, that got a picture."
Oh yeah.
The gays will vote for me now. No, they won't.
No.
I feel like most of them won't. I mean,
I know one.
aside from the gay Trump supporter Chris Barron,
Possibly two.
formerly of GOP Proud and now founder of the tiny Taylor Hands LGBT for Trump. Even the log cabin Republicans decided not to endorse Trump, but this guy goes off because
It's like the professional women for Trump.
Right.
And what was the other one? The Muslims for Trump.
Muslims
They
for
all
Trump.
meet. They
There's
meet in the
usually
same.
three members,
They
and I
meet
think
in the
they're
same
all,
phone booth.
right.
Yeah.
And they stand right behind Donald at all of the events now, so that there's a smattering.
The African American.
The African American. Look at his African
Look
American.
at my African American over
He's
there.
right there.
Dynamite!
Chris Barron, the gay Trump supporter, tweeted out, Trump made history last night and is, quote, the most pro-LGBT presidential candidate ever nominated by either party. Let's just let that sink in.
Yeah.
For fucking real. Come on. This, of course, is patently false and ridiculous, since Trump has opposed rights such as marriage equality consistently since it was first discussed in 2000, and has now surrounded himself with ardent homophobes like Ben Carson, also his running mate.
Mm-hmm. Pence in a recent interview, and now I have not seen the interview. I read the headline in the story. He was on, I forget which network. He was pressed 5 times specifically about the gay community. He was asked specifically 5 times with regards to something to do with either marriage equality or
discrimination against the gays. You talking
He
about Mike Pence?
He avoided. He never answered it 5 times.
Right.
In the same interview, never fucking answered it.
Oh, that's everywhere, because Indiana was the one that, I mean, they passed the one, and then they almost lost the NCAA games, or
right.
they lost, or they almost lost a basketball game, and then they had to revise it. Well, remember, he went on TV to talk about how, well, it's not what you think it is, and then he decided to do the talk show circuit when he wasn't ready. Like, he went on like, no, this is not about discrimination, it's about religious freedom, it's this, and everyone was like, well, no, it's not. Like, that's really badly worded.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went on that show, and they were like, so you think it's okay to discriminate against gays and lesbians? And he was like, why? And he's like, no, this is the law you're passing. Are you okay? And it just keeps asking him, like, you're talking about discrimination, and he never answers it. And finally tells Anderson Cooper, well, clearly you want something from me. And he's like, yes, an answer to this question.
An answer to my question, right.
Because the law that you're saying doesn't do this.
Does do
this. And then,
right.
unfortunately, North Carolina.
What I was talking about happened like a year or so ago, maybe more, when that was all bubbling up. What I was speaking of was like this past week.
Oh, it came up again?
He did it again.
Oh. Because now the governor of North Carolina is the one it's constantly in trouble. Because they've lost so much because they won't back down.
Are you talking about the gal?
No, it's okay. You're thinking South Carolina.
South Carolina. Right.
North Carolina is the one that's got the bathroom bill.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can't even sue people for discrimination. Like, so you can't even sue if you lose your job, your housing, or get discriminated
Or
against.
plastic bags.
So once they pass that law, and is it Pat McCrory? Is that the governor of North Carolina?
That sounds
The name sounds right, but
plausible.
He's so. Is that his name?
I have no idea.
Oh. He's so awful on the topic, and he just keeps doubling down on it. That's one of the reasons why Hillary is winning in North Carolina, is because people are coming out to like get these fuckers out of office.
Right.
Thank
Something
God.
needs to happen, right? Well, and the interesting, like, if you ever were to make a sign, would you put LGBT S, like a small S?
Like it's the collective,
Like,
the LBTs.
Yeah, the LGBT.
The GLBTs.
I often do.
So you would put that.
I do.
Okay, because
Hey, I'm gonna
that's
go
what
hang out
they're-
with the gays. I actually just say the gays.
Right, I was gonna say I've never
that's even
seen
better.
that. Like,
I
I've
feel
never-
inclusive.
but
I feel
that-
like you're hanging out with
when
me.
you're
The
writing something on a
LGBTs.
sign to put the LGBT.
Okay, so and I just because I had to give up on the election for a little while and lose my mind, I went to Veep.
Yeah,
So I'm watching season 4 of Veep.
Sure.
Just tune into season 4 of Veep and watch that the election is just mimicking what they did
It
a couple
really
years
is,
ago
yeah.
on Veep. They give a speech about an out basketball player.
Right.
The president doesn't show up, so they get the vice president to do it, but they forget to change his speech. So he talks about his time in college. and all the friends he made from it, all the gay girls, all the women he made friends with who played softball. So wrong.
Oh my God.
And then Jonah for that season is still working. Now he's working in the vice president's office. So he's trying to tell the vice president how to remember what it stands for. And he's like, L, likes girls. G, guys. Like B, I got nothing for that. It just goes so off the rails. But the thing that kills me is when the vice presidential candidate, who's not the vice president, Selena switches who her running mate. She's ditching who is her vice president now to run with someone else for vice president. He has a good moment, and she starts going, I picked him. Aren't I great for picking him? And I'm like, oh my God, it's Donald fucking Trump. Right. And then it's not email scandals. It's a data breach.
Mm-hmm.
That they're constantly in trouble for this data breach that they went in
Wasn't it about like the healthcare, right?
To do their healthcare law, they did a data breach because they went in and found stuff about parents with sick kids, and they sent them brochures. They went to the grieving. Oh my God. But it's just so fucked up how many things are coming right out of people's mouths in this election that just happened.
Life imitates art.
Oh my God.
Well, and
but
then
sometimes
it could come down to Nevada.
Oh yeah, Nevada. And just that joke with the recount and all of that stuff. Oh my God.
To be sitting there like this is ridiculous.
Where did you grow up? Lake Como?
Sounds lovely.
He was really good at that. I know it's like Barbara Streisand hitting a high C. Did you grow up in Lake Como? It just
the
fucking
Finger
killed me.
Lakes. Thank you very much.
All I can say, the Finger Lakes. All I can see right now is Aaron like this.
Yeah.
Gotta fucking talk about Veep.
I honestly don't
bring
know.
Veep into it. Poor Aaron.
It's like kicking your feet.
Not
funny.
my Aaron, the other one.
Yeah.
We haven't picked on Aaron from LA yet today. That's nice.
No, I know.
Glad we could work that in.
Gotta get that
No,
in.
I just figured he'd jump on there if he hit when he hears us and be like, come on,
Stand by.
Veep.
There's a delay.
He may have already passed out.
And if
He
we
may
could
have.
just do a throwback
He wasn't
to,
feeling well, that's true.
It's almost an hour since he posted in the chat room.
Yeah.
to favorite
Hope he's okay.
acronyms. Don't ever leave the airport.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Arby's really stood for America's roast beef, yes sir. But that was
I've never thought about
That was used to be their commercials.
Oh, I didn't know that.
they're calling it a backronym because they made an acronym
Backwards.
out of
out
the
of
word.
the word because it really stands for roast beef RB. That's what Arby's stands for, roast beef Arby's.
Mm-hmm.
But then they went back later and decided to try and sell it as it meant America's roast beef. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
Jab!
I was looking at you when I said that. Yes, sir. Well, that's pretty much wrong too.
I'll allow it.
It's true. It's okay.
I'll accept it.
That feels wrong.
Nice dismount.
Thank you.
Judges
Well
rule.
done.
That is real. She's going to
Dismount
settle
it.
for bronze.
Accepted.
Allow it.
She'll settle for bronze.
That's great. The end.
Judges rule. She'll settle for bronze.
You know, this is already the fourth time I forgot what we were talking about.
Me too.
It's okay.
One more week.
Sushi's
Well,
really good.
It's okay.
Yeah, your life on the Shire. It's
Yeah.
hard.
I almost feel like we should take
And
the
back,
Tuesday
back
after.
to the Shire.
Back to the Shire.
After the
I
war,
almost feel
went
like we
back
should
to
take
the Shire.
the Tuesday after the election. We should probably take off, but I'm afraid that if we do, fantastic things are going to happen when Trump
Right.
loses his fucking mind and sues the entire world.
And we'll regret that.
And we'll
Need something
regret
to
it.
talk
It's
about.
like when Letterman decided to retire and then Trump runs. Like, damn it, wrong
No,
time.
I know. And
John Stewart.
John Stewart, yes.
Yeah.
Well, now we've basically seen everything. A Florida man is facing charge of battery after police said he pulled out his glass eye while in the hospital and then threw it at them. Here's a picture of the gentleman. The suspected, what they call glass hole,
Glass hole.
is Edward Dorsey, a 54-year-old man from
nightmare.
Largo, Florida. Dorsey was arrested in a domestic battery charge earlier that morning that may have been influenced by drugs and alcohol, according to the smoking gun. Officers took Dorsey to a local hospital to be evaluated by emergency room staff. He was about to be discharged and taken to the Pinellas County Jail for booking. Well, that is when he took out his glass eye and then threw it at hospital personnel after police and
Think
staff
about your answer.
had told him not to. Well, I'm trying to keep track of what the fuck she's doing with her phone.
I'm just taking pictures.
He threw it at the scroll down hospital staff.
According to the police report, Dorsey ignored the orders of keeping his glass eye where it's supposed to be, and by telling them, I can do whatever I feel like doing, he then allegedly hurled the glass at an ER doctor and a nurse, but it's unclear whether it actually hit anyone.
Oh, thank God.
Still, the officers...
Well, did they hand it back to him so he could throw it again, or be like, you know what, I'm going to keep this.
Marbles.
Yeah.
It's like when your toddler keeps throwing the thing on the floor. Like, stop giving
Give
it to him.
Who's the parent here?
Regardless of whether it hit
Nightmare.
anybody or not, the officers tacked on a charge of battery on an emergency medical care provider to the existing domestic battery charge. Dorsey is currently behind bars on $30,000 bail, $5,000 of which is for allegedly tossing his eye. Jail records indicate that the suspect has the words Dorsey Touch tattooed on his forearm. Why that's relevant to the story, I don't know.
Wow. We got to fill out one more inch of this column. What do you got? He's got a tattoo on his arm. Does that work?
That's his name. Who cares?
Can you write that?
I don't see me getting done with this report.
Oh, there was a pun there.
Sorry, I leave those for Marnie usually.
Yeah, usually.
Can't see my ass showing up to work today.
Where is that glass eye?
I had it surgically removed.
Got a ping pong ball?
Can you put?
Let it
Do you have
go.
the video thing?
I do.
Do you want to go ahead? And
Are we
just-
playing the whole thing?
It's like it's a little
minute.
under a minute.
It's a minute long.
Yeah, if possible.
got a minute.
Can we spare the time?
Yeah.
This
There's
is
no time. No time.
This is a lesbian couple that's been together for over 50 years. And they
met
just
2 weeks ago?
Well, they've been lying.
Moved in together on
Right,
Thursday.
yeah.
I enjoy that.
Felt like 50 years about a day later.
This here is Lenny,
7.5 fucking
Lenny
years.
and Pearl.
So are we going to let Lenny and Pearl just play it out on their own?
Yeah.
Got
Let's
it?
do that, please.
I'd like to know where we're going production-wise. So
I forgot to type that in. Sorry.
Lenny and Pearl.
Lenny and Pearl.
It's one of my favorite
With
Christmas.
us.
And I'm Pearl. Been together for 50 years. We just do. We are in love, and we tell each other that every day. Pearl and I were involved in the major marriage case in North Carolina. I wanted, when we got married, that we would do it in our community. Fast forward to the day when we became legal in North Carolina. It's just amazing. I can't believe it. You know, we are so lucky. We have a lot to worry about in terms of this election.
Who am I voting for? Why would you even ask?
It's well past time for America to have a woman president. And so every single vote counts. Oh, I am voting for Hillary Clinton. No question about it.
92 birthday coming up. If Hillary is sitting in the White House, I shall be very happy.
I was going to make fun of that, and it got really sweet all of a sudden.
No.
It went from two old ladies making out to like, oh.
Nobody
I know.
made out?
I had a
Nobody
couple
made
of
out.
things. I had like
okay,
the life
because you edited it
alerts. I
for the
had
audience, but they kissed on that screen.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they could. No, I saw that, but I mean, they weren't making out.
It got
true story.
kind of hot and heavy for me.
it was
I haven't
at
gotten a lot of
least-
action lately.
It was at least like HBO.
Yeah. They said they were going to do it. They wanted to do it. So,
it.
you know,
Oh,
you
well, that
could-
was. They were
We do it every
doing
day.
by
They do
means
it every
voting.
day.
Maybe they were talking about
They're gonna
something
do
else.
it their way.
But-
And then when she had her put her hands on the walker, though, I was thinking like, she says, let's play that again because it was kind of fun. But I wanted to be like, every day we race? Where's she going with that?
She could. They may have. The issue, part of what Lenny and Pearl are talking about is
Lenny and Pearl.
Lenny and Pearl.
Lenny
I
and
just thought they
Squiggy.
were adorable. I thought Lenny and Squiggy.
I hope
too.
her name is
That's funny.
Eleanor.
Oh, good call for the Lenny. Yeah, I'm not sure, but
Fingers crossed.
I thought that story was so wonderful. And there are so many things that come out at 50 years together, and they're still sitting there saying, you know, we're so lucky with everything, and understanding the
They're
people.
barely ambulatory. Where were they going?
Well, right, but the
just kidding.
people, the
God
people
bless you,
that,
Lenny and Pearl.
the people that are listening.
A little tip.
A lot of the folks that are listening to our show don't. They actually can't hear, but
They choose not to
choose
hear.
not to hear some things. But they
Apparently,
they
our chat room quit
struggle.
listening.
Yeah, they're gone.
They struggle how often to be able to. I mean, they can't even be out, much less.
Right. Oh, I gotcha.
So those folks have been together 50 years. Suddenly, they're looking at it like we're so lucky. And then this North Carolina with the bill signing the bill banning cities from protecting LGBT that you were talking about. I mean, it's just, and they have to travel. They went to Maine. I had a bunch of friends that went to Massachusetts to get married before it became legal.
And Joel and Brent. I don't. Where are we going? His husband, that they got married in all these states that made it legal, and then they finally got married in Arizona.
Oh, how nice!
Like they went state by states on vacation to get married to kind of like reinforce the legality of it.
Oh, sure.
And then it finally became legal in Arizona.
Okay.
And they got married here, and I'm so sorry that it's Brett or Brent.
It's fantastic.
Funny story.
Yes.
This week, sometime in the last 2 weeks, got a float. A coworker floated up from a different department.
Okay.
I've worked with this gay gentleman. I hope he's gay. If he's not, I just outed him. He'll find out soon.
I should hope so.
Pride's not for like 6 more months. You got time to figure it out.
Sure.
So
plenty of groundwork to be laid.
Will there be a parade? Yes.
So I say to him, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "It's Brandon, right?" He goes, "No, my name is Renee," and I'm like, "So when you pronounce it, the Brandon is silent."
That's fantastic.
Did you really say that, Tim?
That's pretty funny.
Traditional spelling. Brandon is spelled R-E-N-E-E.
And the Brandon is completely
Really
silent.
That's really good. I like it.
I'm going to try to use that at some point. I thought that was really funny. I think it's really funny.
Oh, I got your name wrong.
And I'm introducing people this morning. I'm like, Vanessa, Christy, this is Denise, and this is... I'm like, I'm not even going to guess because it's going to go wrong.
Right.
And your coworkers know you, and they're like, please don't guess. Please don't do the guessing game with people's names because it goes so wrong.
This goes back to the story where you incriminate the wrong people in all your stories because you get the names wrong.
No idea what their names are.
No idea.
Marina.
This is Denise, and this is... I got to back out here because I got nothing.
You come by it honestly. That's true.
Oh, heavens. I believe this is our...
It's not easy, but I do it.
You do it well,
I believe this is the final story that I have here in our realm of headline stuff. Not only did the Denver Broncos win their game against San Diego Chargers last Sunday, but a cheerleader on the team has won the internet. Broncos cheerleader got into the Halloween spirit by dressing in costumes ranging from video game characters to a butterfly. But Romy Bean, that's her name, Romy Bean is her last name, went one better. She wore a full-on Tyrannosaurus Rex costume and in the game and cheerleaded.
Oh my God.
Cheerled, how you would say that. She works as
That's a tough one.
It is.
She works as wait till the video comes up, Sam.
There's a ton of videos of T-Rex doing things. They're very good.
Bean works as a sports reporter for CBS Denver TV and radio, according to her Twitter account, and she seemed to consider the costume performance a true bucket list event. Dancing in a dinosaur costume can be physically challenging, and Bean showed how she prepared in a separate video on Instagram as well. She'll be dressed slightly different when she plays when the Broncos play the Oakland Raiders, apparently this coming weekend. And this is what she looks like traditionally outside of the T-Rex costume.
Very healthy.
But this cracked me up, and
She's very tan.
No, just watch. This is so fucking fantastic. This dead center.
Really?
Oh my God.
Which one's the dinosaur? Smile through the whole thing.
I just think that's fantastic.
Also,
that is fantastic.
Well done to keep that all to
It's a good time right there.
Yeah, right? That's
She's
cute.
a good time. Oh, she doesn't like when you say that about her, though.
Oh,
she's
God.
a good time.
You don't know. She might.
You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know me. You don't know me.
You don't know.
I thought that was funny
It
to
is
watch.
so cute.
Yes.
I like it.
Ms. Perkins?
Oh.
Are you ready for something?
What is on that screen now? Something just ate a cheerleader.
Well, we're not. That's just on YouTube.
Well, you can't put that on it. You can't watch me. You can't make me, like, not comment on a video about cannibalism.
I'm going to move this screen down lower so none of you can see that. Because it just, I know it's distracting.
You can't let videos play and let us just sit here in the room. We're just going to watch it.
Unremarked. Nightmare!
No, it'd be like Mystery Science Theater, where we all just videos play and we comment on them.
We'd be really good at that too.
Probably. I'm
shamefully.
sure. Oh, for
It's harder
crying
than it's gone.
It is. It's over. Alfie, you ready?
Entertainment! I started to read the words that were written down.
Wow.
There's a possible Will and Grace revival in the works. NBC announces its next musical before their current musical airs.
Yes.
We have 2 documentaries on the Netflixes. Bill Maher gets his dream date. And we have
Kellyanne Conway.
Exactly. We have an update on a celebrity that's really not that much of a celebrity anymore.
Oh.
But so we'll start with that.
Okay.
Val Kilmer is
Kilmer.
No N.
I want to call him Kilmer. Kilmer
Is that
clearly not my favorite Batman.
Brandon?
Yeah,
Brandon's silent.
the Brandon is silent.
The Kilmer is silent. Oh fuck.
So he was photographed last year in public with a tracheostomy.
Oh.
And swore he wasn't sick because I guess he got it as a fashion statement.
Of course, yeah, like you do.
But Michael Douglas now says that his friend Val is battling throat cancer and is allegedly not doing well, and in his towards the end, and we're at the thoughts and prayers thing, and that's what I was gonna say earlier. Oh my God! And on Veep, there's a shooting somewhere, and she's like, "Call Gary. He's got a thoughts and prayers envelope. He's got
A thoughts and prayers file.
What's it called when you have it on the computer?
File.
Yeah.
Folder.
A file. We got a file.
Oh my God, that's funny.
He's got a thoughts and prayers folder.
Full of memes.
I almost fell off the couch. Call Gary. I got a thoughts and prayers.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Got it. 2 hours later. Right on it.
Hey, but you got it. You got it, and that's what counts.
Timing is everything.
Oh my God.
Yes.
It is. So I mean, but it's kind of sad. And then I looked and I saw the pictures that he was photographed sporting a jaunty tracheostomy, and then saying, "No, I'm fine." Then what? Huh? So it is sad. I mean,
yeah.
I'm fine.
No, yeah, and I don't know how that's working because it wasn't cuffed. Because if you have that, you can put a cap on it.
The Al Smith dinner, isn't that the same thing? Right?
Yeah, you just have to cover it up or put a cap on it, and then you can talk.
Sure.
And he's wearing a scarf and stuff. So I mean, but it was sad.
Which is different than putting a ring on it. Completely different.
Absolutely.
I remember when he started pre-Batman. I really thought he was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, back when he was in
Then
Top
all
Gun.
went wrong.
Yeah, he was in
Top
Top
Gun. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Top Gun's a terrible movie, but then they play volleyball, and I kind of forgive him.
Iceman? Was he called? Was
As a
it
group.
Iceman?
That sounds
Ghost.
In Top Gun, yeah.
On Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was nothing in that movie worth paying attention to until the volleyball
Except
scene.
for Kenny Loggins saying.
He did.
Oh, and one of the worst Kenny Loggins songs ever. That everything
And
in that movie is in the bad 80s.
To
Everything in that movie is in the
danger
bad
zone.
80s
Which
column.
gets me to
And Kelly McGillis then. And
Archer.
now, different.
Oh, very different. Yeah.
Bull Dyke, big Bull Dyke. But okay, so as long as we're on Top Gun, because it is one of the best movies for one
You
reason.
didn't think you were going to get
Go
there
ahead.
from here.
Yeah, no. Huh?
Got
Well,
it.
because I was only a little bit listening to you. Was the story
fair.
about how Val Kilmer says he doesn't have cancer?
Well, he said he wasn't sick last year, with anything.
If I can find a
As of
picture.
today at 7 p.m., according to E! News.
E!
Jeb's. It's Jeb's brother. Same last name.
Val Kilmer is very grateful for all the well wishes, but they may be a bit unnecessary. He thinks Michael Douglas is very sweet, but I'm not sick.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah, thank you for all your love and support. There's a rumor I'm unwell again and in the hospital, which is totally untrue.
It's a lot of unwells and untrues.
I don't disagree.
don't
with
disagree.
you.
I don't disagree with you. That's fair.
He's just trying
I was
to get a
in.
part. And
He
he's
says I
really-
was in to verify I have no tumor or infection of any kind, which is verified.
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 Interesting.
By the,
So our
by the
long
very
national
caring,
nightmare is
scroll by the
over.
very caring experts. at UCLA. That.
So if
good
you
news.
ever want to watch the best game of he's on the box, he's not on the box, he's on the box, he's not on the box, there's a scene in Top Gun between Raging Bull Dyke, Kelly McGillicuddy, what's her name?
Yes.
Kelly McGillis.
Kelly
and
McGillis.
Conley.
I'm like,
Kelly McGillis and Tom Cruise, where in close-ups as they're walking, they're the same height, but then they, for some reason, pull away to like a far away shot of them walking, and he can't walk on the box. So he's clearly a foot shorter than her. Okay. And then they go back to close up and they're like equal height, and then they pull back again. And you're like, just go with one shot. Like, it's a continuity nightmare that there's no reason for. Like, there's no reason to pretend. And she's
I like
always
your description
seated.
of that. I'm on the box. I'm not on the box.
For those that might not know who Val Kilmer is, I was going to show like a then and now picture.
Yeah.
I mean,
And what movie is that from on the left?
That's Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Top Gun,
sure.
yeah.
Oh, he was hot. I didn't see Top Gun until years later. So
Yeah, but I don't. That's supposedly a picture of now.
Well, it's
now that's a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because the one of the last ones that
I can't find one with a trach in it. So calm down.
I wasn't looking not about the trach, but one of the last pictures that I saw, he looked awful, and that didn't look as bad. So
well, he's trying to hide it with a scarf. The last picture I saw, like he's trying to dress up the illness. Hold on.
By the way, this just in.
Oh, what?
Cubs win! Cubs
Yay!
win!
It's tied up.
Tied 3-3.
It's 3-3.
There'll be a game 7 tomorrow.
It's rigged.
Tomorrow, is it back in Chicago? Or no? Does it move back to Chicago?
What in gay hell is this? Pass
It's a
this over
simple
to
question. I asked a simple. I know exactly what that is.
It'll be in. It's in Cleveland.
Oh,
yeah.
I was hoping they could go home and win.
I know, me too.
I already know about that. I'll tell you more about it later.
Okay.
No, I was hoping if they could go home and win in their home field. That was what I was hoping.
Yeah,
for.
I agree.
Yeah.
I thought so too. That would be really cool. But
no.
hopefully.
Anyway.
Weird. Okay. The end.
Got it.
Do you have anything else, sir?
Yeah, I do. I was just because there's a really funny. Somebody made a YouTube video of the but I can't find it of the whatever her name. I've already forgot her name again. The bull dyke.
Kelly McGillis.
McGillicuddy. Yes.
Kelly McGillis.
So I couldn't.
Cumberbatch.
Oh my God! Yes.
He was on CBS This Morning last Sunday. I watched that too. Story about him and his new movie called is it Beast something? He's got a new movie coming out.
He's Doctor Strange, and he might be in the thing from.
It was an interesting interview.
Doctor Strange, and then the one that's the has something to do with Harry Potter.
Oh, Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, and why
Fantastic Beasts.
And
that's
why
the
we
one.
name them or whatever it's called.
That was
Fantastic
what that was on.
Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Oh,
which is.
I was pretty fucking close.
I could get
Settle
nerd
down.
on it. I'll be.
Okay, so that's our illness portion. And then Bill Maher, after years of begging and pleading, and he gave $1 million to the Obama campaign, finally gets his date with Obama this Friday.
Oh.
So on Real Time with Bill Maher this Friday night, it will be an interview with Obama. It sounds like, because of Obama's busy touring schedule for as an opening act for Hillary Clinton, Clinton.
And he has no fucks to give. So
he has no fucks to give. So I'm really curious as to see how it will go with Obama and Bill Maher, because the show's kind of raunchy. A lot of people let loose and get to swear, and you can watch somebody that's used to being on like non-swearing TV that gets to throw in a bullshit once in a while, and just like glee and the kicking their feet under their table that they finally get to say what they want. They finally get to be like, you're an asshole.
I saw a clip of Samantha Bee interviewing Obama, and the question she posed to him was, what will be the "you're not born in this country" for Hillary? And he's like, wow, it's a good question. But I didn't, it's a teaser, so they didn't show what his answer was. But I'm curious to know what his answer was for that.
Oh, it'll be this email thing that they're now saying is like bigger than, Trump is like, it's bigger than Watergate. It really isn't. No. And then I was like, 650.
No. They already showed it. I
haven't seen.
Yeah, he basically said it'll be that she's tired, that she's, like kind of the woman that she's
a while ago?
like kind of nagging.
No,
not nagging.
It was just. I just saw the promo today on TV.
Yeah, it's
like an upcoming show this week or something.
Yeah,
it was on last night, but it was on last night, but
I was watching something I had DVR'd yesterday. Okay.
Yeah, because the episode was on last night, and I couldn't. I tried to watch it this morning, and I could not stay awake.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gone. So I mean, very exciting, and he literally at the within 3 weeks to go, gave $1 million to Obama's re-election campaign and was like, all right, like, I don't want to say pay for play, but I gave you $1 million, and you did Between Two Ferns. you can come
you
on
can
this
come
show.
on this show.
Oh my.
So
That does seem fair.
NBC announces its next musical this year. It's going to be Hairspray.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, they're doing Bye Bye Birdie, another fine choice of a musical that the movie and the stage play don't differ too much from each other. Except for in the movie, she's no longer Hispanic or Puerto Rican; she's Italian, and they had Janet Leigh, whitest woman alive,
Very white woman,
recently stabbed in a shower.
Yeah.
Sad.
Play Rosie. So, but this year it's going to be J-Lo.
J-Lo, yeah.
So J-Lo has been cast as Rosie.
Very nice.
And I got that
That's
right because I didn't write it down because
J-E-L-L-O.
I've been saying it was Vanessa Williams due to hoping on my part that they would have done it with Vanessa Williams.
Oh, those
So they
eyes.
haven't announced the rest of the cast, but J-Lo will be executive producing with Neil and Craig, the ones that I always tell you if they do something,
Just show
pay
up.
attention, just show up. They get things right. So that's kind of exciting. That Bye Bye Birdie. It's a fun
That's very
show,
exciting.
fun songs. And one of those movies that the movie version is perfectly delightful. There's nothing to get wrong there. Yeah. Da-da-da, da-da-da, got a lot of living.
That will be a fun if they actually reenact that whole scene like they do with Anne Margaret.
Well, yeah, and you just got to find someone young that could dance. And I think that's where that How Hoff girl, whatever her name was, the one from Dancing with the
Juliette
Stars.
Hough.
Yeah, the one that can actually dance.
Yes.
Like, I feel like this might be a role that's made for her. I mean, she's 10 years too old, but it's going to have to be... Or just go to, like, the last 10 years of So You Think You Can Dance and get one of those people. But if they do that
Sutton
live...
Foster, that's my vote.
She might be 30 years too old for that part. Not Rosie, but I can't think of what the high school girl's name is. But there's Telephone and... Yeah, what is her name? And
What the fuck is her name?
I can't think of it. That
Huh?
the character that Anne Margaret plays.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
So, and if you don't know, Bye Bye
Kids
Birdie.
is in there.
Yeah, kids.
Kids!
What's the matter with kids today?
Brum, brum, brum.
And out of nowhere, Maureen Stapleton comes through and sings a song. And so Maureen Stapleton,
Didn't Maureen have kind of a gravelly voice?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But just the fact that Maureen Stapleton, who pulls off like great roles in so many movies and Oscar nominations all over the place, and is in one of the most beautiful movies ever made called Interiors, all of a sudden pulls off a song as Paul Lynde's overbearing, no, not Paul Lynde's overbearing mother, Dick Van Dyke's overbearing mother.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And very, very funny. Like, there's just the range of Maureen Stapleton always amazes me, and that they waited till she was like 106 to give her an Oscar. But so anyways, it's a fun show, and it's about it's kind of like a play on Elvis being sent to war.
Hi, Harrison.
Hi, Harrison. So I don't think Ursula Merkley is her name. That sounds awfully ethnic for a show about white people. But so it's about Elvis getting sent up to war and how they made it a PR thing, and they bring him to a small town to meet the president of his fan club before he goes to war, and hilarity ensues as the young girl and her boyfriend have a row over the fact that she's falling for slightly older gentlemen going off to war. Or going off to the army. Although Elvis, like, he served for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think they kept him hidden.
No,
So that's coming.
Kim McAfee.
Kim McAfee, yes. God, how did I forget that?
Who knows?
I think I've used that as a fake name. In case you hated me, my name was Kim McAfee. Will and Grace revival might be coming back.
Which
10
is so
episodes.
exciting.
And now one of the things that I didn't realize, because I own all the DVDs, so I've never really cared who had it. I didn't realize it's not on streaming.
Will and Grace? No, it's not.
It's not, and usually you have to worry if something's not on streaming that they would owe music rights. One of the few things that keeps people out of streaming is if they played a lot of original music or like somehow like fit in songs.
A lot of
and
pop
that's why,
music, sure.
Yeah, that's why 30-something will absolutely never come to streaming because. Yep, there you go. And
It just makes me happy.
It does.
I agree.
What's it called? Queer as Folk
Uh-huh.
couldn't come to streaming until they replaced and I've talked about this a billion times, that they had to change every single song in those episodes because they had to put in like royalty-free music.
They had to pull out Deborah Cox and put in whatever.
Like blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And like one of the sad things that they get rid of, and the scene that always bothers me, is in the British version, the young guy commits suicide after he's dumped by the Brian character. Justin. In the Brit, he kills himself right away because he's dumped and he's heartbroken. In the American version, he's there, and in the pivotal scene where he realizes Brian doesn't want him after he sneaks in the gay bar underage, he looks around and he realizes that people are kind of looking at him because he's hot, and he like takes off his shirt and the confetti cannons go off.
That moment.
That moment, and they play Let's Hear a dance remix of Let's Hear It for the Boy as he goes out and starts dancing and making the other guy jealous of like, fucker, you're 30, I'm 18, and look like this. I'm going to win this battle. And that's how they end up together, and that changes the course of Queer as Folk, and it was one of the things that I really didn't like. And then, in a side note, I think his name is Randy Harrison that played
Justin.
Who was just here in Cabaret. And was phenomenal. He was so good in Cabaret as the MC. So to have him just playing that, just so lewd and... Ugh. So anyways, but Will and Grace may be coming back. They're still in talks. And the reason that it comes up about streaming is because they have an opportunity to sell the whole show to a streaming service like Hulu. And I can't remember. They're mentioning...
The entire series?
Yeah.
Like back to season 1?
Yeah, they're
top 3 are Hulu, Amazon, and Netflix.
But they're mentioning a new one that wants to be trying to be up and coming. It's called like Skypes or something.
No,
Styles, Syllabus.
Traditional spelling.
Nightmares. Anyways.
Did you hear me typing like a...
Yeah, I can't, right.
So
we're going live. Kat Carlson is...
So it comes up in... It's their way of like getting themselves on the map.
Sure. They're going to be the...
Sure. Well, exclusive content is the way to get subscribers.
They may get the entire series and then have the 10 new episodes. It's kind of how Netflix got their finger in the pool with Arrested Development.
Why not 13? That's a season, right? 10 isn't a season, is it? I thought
It is on cable. 10 is like Veep is 10. A lot of shows are 10. 10, 12.
Really?
Networks do 13 or 26. That's like networks, but the rest of them do 10 or 12.
So Will and Grace rarely had pop music.
So what's keeping them off streaming? I don't know.
I don't know either. And apparently I'm skimming too lightly.
Or it could be how much they would have to pay them, because the contracts now include if you sell to a service. That's why Friends just got on Netflix like 2 years ago. Like Friends,
the whole cast is looking for a handout.
Yeah, because everybody's got to get paid.
Sure, I agree with that.
Thing.
Even Rosario's got to get paid.
So the revival is there's nothing set to ink, but there's interest going forward, and everyone has said that they would do it, and they have Max Muchnick, I think, and I can't think of what his partner's name is, writing partner, not life partner, because one of them's gay, one of them's straight, and they became Will and Grace. That the story of them is the story of they just made one of them a woman. They made the straight guy a woman, but it's their friendship played out writ large.
I did not realize that part of the story.
So, fun stuff, and it'd be great to have them back because now they just did the guy that plays Randy Rainbow on the Facebooks. If you're not familiar with Randy Rainbow, find his page and find what he did. He just wrote a parody of Dear Officer Krumke from West Side Story for the cast of Will and Grace to sing about Trump and Hillary, and it's just fantastic.
Oh, I didn't see the musical number yet.
It's really good.
I wonder if we can play that and not get slammed for it, because that is adorable to watch.
Oh, you should find it.
I don't know. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Ask forgiveness is my motto, not permission.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I dated him. So that's coming up. And then on the Netflix, for your enjoyment, there's 2 new documentaries. One has been out a little bit longer. It's been out about a month. One's called 13, and it's about the transition from slavery into mass incarceration. It's directed by Anna DuVernay. I can't think how you say her name. But she directed Selma.
I think it's DuVernay.
Yeah. She directed Selma, and this is her big project over at Netflix.
Okay.
And parts of it, people are putting it up on the Facebooks. One of the videos when it has the speech of making America great again, and they compare people at the Trump rallies today with people trying to vote in the 60s. and it's really quite moving. Great documentary. A lot of people are in there. A lot of people are interviewed, thinking they're going to come out well in it, and they don't. And then the other one is a really, really chilling documentary called Witness. And there's a famous story from the late 60s, early 70s about a woman who was being assaulted on the streets of New York, calling for help, and people and there was a TV movie about it not a few years ago, like 30 years ago. There was a TV movie about this woman's assault on the streets of New York in front of apartments where no one offered help. And she was brutally assaulted in front of, walking down the street, crying for help, where people literally shut their windows and just ignored it. It didn't help her. And it's called, that documentary is called Witness, and they're both on Netflix. Neither one are light, charming.
Right. I have those, not the second one, but the first one I have on my watch list.
Yeah, so, and they're both really good. So let me...
It's 3.5 minutes long, this clip.
All right, so play that while I look this up. We'll play something light in between this.
Oh, that'll be nice.
We're going to watch the whole thing?
This is the cast of Will and Grace doing a parody of Dear Officer Krumke from West Side Story, written by Randy Rainbow.
Wait.
And is that the only one that's out right now? This version?
I feel like there's a...
Is there a dance remix that we're missing?
No. I mean, I don't want to say a cleaner version, but I tried to listen to that one last night, and it was just a little bit...
This?
Kind of...
Well, it's done from a cell phone, so it's a little... It's not done from the actual audio stream.
I didn't know if there was a better one. That's what I meant. I just hadn't looked.
To my knowledge, but we're going to find
Okay.
out. I need more hands to do this. This gets
That's
challenging.
what she said.
Wait. Somewhere I'm getting audio from somewhere else. Oh, wait. I know why. Bingo. Found it.
Bingo, bango,
Magical.
bongo.
Here we go.
Dear Secretary Clinton, we know you hate to brag, but holes are been hidden. You got this in the bag. Our country's kind of crazy, but still you give us faith. That's why we're with you November 8th. Hey, Hillary Clinton, it's you we adore. To tell the truth, I've never had a woman before. Offered, will you be my first? Cause Donald Trump's the freaking worst.
He's the worst.
He's the worst, he's the worst, he's the freaking worst. Like he's actually the freaking worst. The trouble is he's racist.
Wrong. Trouble is unfair.
The trouble is he's tasteless.
Wrong. Trouble is unfair.
Wrong, you don't know how he got here. Can't wait till he is gone. Hope he doesn't sue us for this song.
Hey, Donald Trump is really perverse. You couldn't win a Twitter war with Miss Universe. Shoes unclear on your plans.
And you got tiny little hands. Little hands, little hands, little hands. He has tiny hands. He has tiny little baby hands.
And you know what they say about big orange billionaires with tiny hands? They're usually misogynistic demagogues who should never be president.
And they have small penises.
The infrastructure's failing, our future's looking bland. Economy is trailing, the climate's out of hand. Our children are in crisis, our nation's gone berserk. And poor Billy Bush is out of work. Hey, Hillary Clinton, we need you in fast. Cause Donald Trump's campaign is a campaign in the ass. We looked at your tax plan, we're sold on your pitch. And braggadociously, we're rich.
We are rich.
We are rich, we are rich, we are rich, rich, rich. Like we're really, really, really rich. Dear Donald Trump supporters, he hasn't got a chance.
But God forbid it happens. You'll have to move to France.
It's not that he's unshackled, it's just that he's unfit. And a lying sexist hypocrite. Hey, Hillary Clinton, we need your advice. Is there a legal way that we can vote for you twice? We're salute you in raising our cup. And undecidedly shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. No, really, shut up.
We're going to
Very
get
good.
sued.
Oh, maybe not.
Nah, they'll just take our video down. Who cares?
Yeah, that was very cute.
Very cute. It's the second or third time I've watched that.
You catch more things as you go.
Yeah.
Because I didn't hear it.
very clever.
Quite a few of those. That's great. I love it.
So witty. So witty.
Very
What do you got
nice.
for entertainment? Al?
Come on, Al. There's more.
So anyway, so I wanted to
Bless
just-
you.
Bless you. Bless you. My goodness.
my face full of the green shit.
Wasabi.
Wasabi.
Ooh, wasabi.
Okay, so now where did it go? So so it's even worse. That Witness movie, Kitty Genovese became synonymous with apathy after news that she was stabbed to death on a New York City street while 38 witnesses did nothing. 40 years later, her brother decides to find the truth. He uncovers a lie that transformed his life, condemned a city, and defined an era. So it really is. It's very interesting. It's on Netflix right now. I have not watched it yet. I'm going to watch it when I get home tonight. But getting a lot of raves, so I'm curious to see, because they did a TV movie about it when I was young, and I watched it, and I'm sure it had Gavin MacLeod in it.
How could it not?
How could it not? I mean, he had a
wouldn't
lot
it?
going on. Why wouldn't it?
Why wouldn't it?
Drink.
Nightmare. So, I'm gonna get the bottle. So, just an interesting couple of documentaries that are on there, and if you haven't watched Mascots yet, you really got to on Netflix. I know I talked about it last week, but I watched it again, and that is some silly fucking laugh out loud shit about the mascots completing for the Golden Fuzzy. It's just.
That's the awards name, the Golden Fuzzy.
And honest to God,
Seems
if you
like a
like,
euphemism.
if you,
Sounds
it,
like
of
a
course, it is. But
Saturday.
if you like Christopher Guest, and you like Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman and all those movies, you will honestly just adore this. And Zach Woods, I can't talk because I watched it again this week before I went to sleep, and it was another. I love giggling myself to sleep, which is why it's been Veep and Mascots all week. Plus, you got to get away from the election, and you got to go away from.
Oh, you
all
have
that.
to.
And
I need
season
to.
4 of Veep.
Breathe, people, breathe.
Now we have to give a shout out to this guy. I'm gonna look him up.
All right.
He plays Richard.
Does he listen?
I wish he did, and I have to become friends with him because
Long-time listener, first-time
I'm friends with
caller.
Timothy Simons and he's really cool because he makes you his friend for real.
That is cool.
On Facebook, if you're friends with Timothy, he answers questions, like he responds to posts, he thanks you if you like something he does. The character's name is Richard Sprecht, and his name is Sam Richardson. He is in so many movies. We're just going to list all the places you can find him. He was just in Ghostbusters. He was in Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, which made me laugh. Neighbors 2, Sorority Rising. He was funny in that. He was on New Girl. He's been on Drunk History. He was in Horrible Bosses 2. He was in We're the Millers. He was on The Office for 6 episodes. And he's just got the best fucking timing in the entire world of playing like the befuddled character that can't figure out to stop talking.
Show me this picture because it's driving me nuts. I tried to look quick. Sorry.
He's
Oh God, yes, he's very.
He's
funny.
Jonah's
Jonah's
assistant,
yes.
but then Jonah becomes his assistant
Right.
because it turns out he's got a master's degree in poli-sci.
Right.
And
Right.
then he becomes
He's
Jonah's
funny.
assistant when Jonah has to run for Congress.
Right.
He is so fucking funny as he starts the explanation of how the recount goes.
Right.
But then while they're giving the press interview, he explains to them how to make her lose because he can't stop talking. Oh, it's just fucking wrong. Just fucking wrong. So if you're sick of the election, but you want to still watch the election but laugh instead of cry,
Sure.
watch Veep because all the same things are going on there.
That's fantastic. Yeah, really is. It's very true.
In
It's all the
season,
same.
if you like Fresh Off the Boat, the lead actor from Fresh Off the Boat plays like the guy that she's running against briefly for president that saved the guy from the fire. He was the army. He was in the military and he saved somebody from a fire and he's a war hero. And he always talks about saving the guy from the fire. And he's like, well, maybe don't start the fire. Next time you have to save him. And they're shitty to a war hero. I mean, it's just fucked up. And that's all I got for entertainment.
Entertainment.
That was a short segment.
It was.
We might actually end at 10 o'clock tonight, depending on how this all goes.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I have
That's
to be
good
up
because
early.
I'm okay with going back to bed.
Cat Carlson.
It's been exhausting.
Oh, how do I still have a stinger?
Because I haven't made the new theme yet. I haven't made the new theme yet.
Tonight in two things. Coffee may be getting more expensive, but where to go in a zombie apocalypse. That's all I got. That's what I got. Those are two things. Those are two things.
I counted.
I've lived up to my
minor
commitment.
Your
like
pay
my
grade. Your
minor,
pay
my
grade.
minor.
Modest yet thorough commitment.
I'm surprised you keep letting me show up, really.
I got to fill that seat.
Coffee, as if we couldn't blame millennials for enough things, coffee-loving millennials could contribute to a global coffee shortage.
Oh, my God.
Al Perkins, buckle your
Oh,
seatbelts.
I'm ready.
Goodness. Millennials' seemingly unquenchable thirst for coffee is helping to push global demand to a record, just as supplies are tightening.
Oh, no.
I'm devastated. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what else going to do.
I don't know what else going to do.
The hell are we going to do?
Make more money.
Americans are becoming Java junkies at an earlier age, and young adults are increasing their daily consumption at a fast enough pace to make up for declines by older folks, which, whatever. Right. Grandma switched to decaf a long time ago.
Totally. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Keeps her up at night and bothers your bowels.
Millennials, a cohort of people now aged 19 to 34. Whew, I just missed the cutoff.
Yes, you did.
Account for about 44% of U.S. coffee demand. The coffee craze is also starting earlier in life. Younger millennials born after 1995 started drinking coffee at about 14.7 years old.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's about right. 15.
Yeah.
Seems good. Seems good. Now, simultaneous to this increase in millennial consumption, there's dry weather in Brazil that's hampering the country's crop.
Make it rain,
of
bitches.
coffee.
Make it rain.
That's right. Work it out.
I know.
Well,
what are we gonna do? I feel like the only
drink more water.
The only answer is to purge the millennials.
Totally. Let's get rid of them.
Yes, I think that's fair.
Survey says.
Okay. Drink. Nightmares.
Yes. Yes. But I just, that's my public service announcement of the week.
It's a good announcement.
Start hoarding coffee. This from the New Zealand Herald.
Very nice.
The breaking news.
I think it's good.
Yeah, breaking news. So a little bit more fun. Somebody over at careerbuilder.com had nothing else to do. And so they've...
It's not a surprise, really.
So they have ranked the 53 largest metropolitan areas in America according to their ability to withstand a zombie invasion.
Oh, good.
You got to be ready.
You have to be prepared. Here in Phoenix, we should know where we need to go to best survive this.
Please tell me.
I will.
I'll take one for the
In
team.
case you
I'm
were
not
wondering
running
about the
anywhere.
science, the man behind the curtain, as it were, cities are ranked with a combined score based on defense, containment, cure research, and food supply to come up with an overall score in gymnastics.
Well, based on
and then the beam.
Right, the beam, the uneven bars.
The mat, the floor.
The floor routine.
The floor routine is
Well,
very
I'm going to
important.
get for food supply now.
I like it when they call this dancing.
Does that mean that they're going to wind up in Mesa, where the survival food is for all the Mormons?
Well,
That's a good call.
cities with a large percentage of the population who work in the military and the protective services score well in the defense category. Small arms and ammo manufacturing also help matters. Plentiful engineers.
Small arms.
Like
T-Rex
a T-Rex.
arms.
Plentiful engineers and construction workers lead to better containment scores. Although a high population density can reduce that value.
Hey, Rick.
More people, bad news.
More people, bad news. That's Clayton's whole motto about life. More people,
Bad news.
It's getting there the older I get.
However, places like
Can't
Boston
No.
that contain a large number of biotech and medical research firms score well in the cure research category, and cities where food manufacturing is a high percentage of total exports are afforded a high food supply score.
Oh.
Residents of bottom-placed New York can take solace in the fact that the Highest scoring city in the country, Boston, is just a 4-hour drive or a 3-day walk away.
God. Or we could call that guy on the bike.
Yeah. So
remember
that guy on a bike?
I wonder where he is.
The
Do you remember
lowest
the guy
score
with
on the
guy on
map.
a bike.
Yeah. Lowest score on the map is again New York City. They scored a 12.4 in defense.
No.
Negative 10.1 in containment.
bad.
Cure Research 4.3, Food Supply 2.0, coming up with a total of 8.7. Contrast that with maybe
There's too many numbers.
right nearby
I get
near
confused.
nearby.
I love that she says about her own reporting. Right.
Right. I'm like, that's
a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
Listen, I needed two things. This is a thing.
No,
this is
you're
going
right,
to take
you're
a
right,
minute.
You're right. It's fine.
You needed two things. This is a fucking thing. I got your thing right here.
Nightmare.
I got the horse right here.
Now, for our own reference, Phoenix, Arizona scores a total of 25.6. Our highest category being defense, 12.8. Our lowest category being cure research.
Okay.
Apparently, Mayo Clinic is not going to solve it.
No, they're not going to.
They're not going to do it. They don't give a shit.
No.
2.0 for cure research. However, nearby,
Close-ish.
yeah,
Further South Dakota.
San Diego
Yes.
San Diego.
scored a
That's where King Tom is
39.4.
from.
Diego.
We'd be much safer in San Diego.
Wrong.
They
Oh,
have,
but we proved that wrong in Fear the Walking Dead.
I don't know. According to Career Builder,
I don't know.
I'm worried about your job choices when you're on Career Builder trying to figure out where to best survive the zombie apocalypse.
Apparently, they're not busy enough over
their
there.
recent study with Career Builder, because
afraid.
apparently San Diego has a very high defense score and also a high cure research score.
Ooh.
Yeah, they do not have a very high food supply store
Can I ask a question?
score. Yes, dear.
Well, I wasn't listening. What is that?
That's fair. That's fair.
No, you lost me with numbers.
Oh, the number.
No,
I
what
know.
the fuck was the cure research?
So that's gonna be.
I'm just trying to,
Those are places that contain a large number of biotech and medical research.
That's right.
companies.
That's why the Mayo
Yeah.
come.
Right. That's why the Mayo comment,
the-
because
yeah.
in my mind, our
Research.
biggest research facility may or may not be Mayo.
Sure. I can go with that.
And I drive by it on the way to the movies, so it's really just fresh in my
yeah,
mind
right
at
there.
all times.
Sure. Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
Nightmare. Go on.
Oh,
Take a drink.
if you need more information on cities near you, please visit careerbuilder.com.
You can find a job and a zombie.
Search for the keyword zombie apocalypse.
Oh, you said keyword. Those are keywords.
I think it's all
Two
one word
words.
hashtag.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure.
Listen, there's an
It's like the
apocalypse.
LGBTs.
Okay.
No time.
Right.
No time.
Hey, I just wanted to be.
The
it's
L stands for
about-
likes girls.
The
The
G
G stands for
for
likes
gay.
guys. The B I got nothing for.
All right.
That's the
B
best
for
part about
both.
that joke is that the B I got nothing.
I got nothing. Got nothing.
That's cute. I like it. It's
Oh.
good.
Do we need to talk about any current events? I can't think
Well,
of any.
I mean, we got to talk about the fact that if Trump becomes president next Tuesday, which is up to like a
San
30%,
Diego is not going to help us.
it's about 30% chance, according to 538.
according to Nate Silver.
Nate Silver. It's going to be because of our over-intrusive and really fucked up FBI, who is just breaking laws all over the place.
Yeah.
Not only right and left, but left and right too.
Yeah, left and right, and the fact that
The nerve.
the
It's-
Utah guy,
It's the B. Both.
Chaffetz, is that his name? The congressman from Utah,
Yeah, from Utah.
is leaking stuff, and that the FBI is saying, "Oh, we have to say this stuff because we're afraid it's going to be leaked." So you're leaking stuff because you're so unsure of the security of the
We wanna be the
FBI,
first.
but you're investigating the security of someone's emails when you're leaking stuff because you're worried someone else is going to leak it and you're not seeing the horrible. And then I'm like, 650,000 emails. How is that possible? Well, because they're on
Donald
two other,
has the same amount of tweets.
but you're on somebody else's email.
Oh, right.
Like, and so now we have to look at dick pics.
Well,
And
I have
Anthony
never,
Weiner,
I have
seriously.
to tell you, in all sincerity, I think that since I last volunteered at the animal shelter, and when camping. I've never discussed pussy and wiener so much in my entire
Oh,
life.
I know.
Like, what the fuck?
This is like a 7th grade.
It really is.
It really is. And Comey is just off. And I said in July when he came out, because I was on vacation, we didn't get a chance to talk about it. But when Comey came out and did that press conference in July about they were not going to press charges, but she showed like an extraordinary lack of vision or carelessness or whatever.
Because what happened, the email server that they were using was only being used, emails were only sent to and from with classified information to and from people that had that clearance. So they're not like sharing this with interns or anything. So they were reckless and not necessarily secure, but they didn't actually mishandle the classified information. That's what happened. That's what happened with the Hillary thing, right?
And what he did was when he did that press conference, it was a very damning press conference. But luckily, because the press conference point was, and it was Comey being a Republican. He is a very hard right guy that people were like applauding him on his service to his country and his being fair and balanced, not impartiality,
right, which is not a thing.
Well, it turns out it's not true at all. But they were, first off, since nothing came of the investigation, his press conference meant nothing. He went out of bounds there by giving that press conference and saying, this is the way the investigation went. We're going to recommend no charges. He should not have gone on the air and said anything. You don't give your own personal feelings about a thing that never came to trial. All it should have been was, we are recommending no charges. You don't say, but we think this.
Right. You don't go and just spank people. Like you're basically trying to
try someone in the court of public opinion, and they can't refute the charges that you're making. So while that was a really damning press conference for her, while exonerating her of any wrongdoing, it let him give his personal insight in it. And it was damning. But then a week later, and we were on vacation, we weren't doing shows those weeks, the Republicans had a fit and had a congressional hearing with Comey for like 7 or 8 hours.
Right.
Well, I didn't have a lot to do that day, so I watched the whole thing. And what that did for 7 hours was just completely exonerate Clinton and just make it clear that of these thousands.
That way.
Oh, it's from the guy from the taco truck guy. Clinton. Hillary Clinton will put a taco truck on every corner. Sorry, Tom Mexicans. I guess they're just defending them. But I was delighted by the way he pronounced Clinton.
They were with us for so long.
I
too.
know they're our longest listeners.
I think we lost them.
Clayton's devastated. Look,
he might be able to stroke them back. Nightmare. Oh, so he's pulling the plug on the whole show. That's it. We're done.
I want to find the video. That guy going Clinton.
So what they did in that course of that hearing was realize that there really was nothing
There's
there.
nothing
that out of those
there.
thousands of emails, they actually got verification that they were only looking at 3. 2 of them were classified, not top secret, or confidential.
Yeah, and they were to and from people that had that clearance.
Yeah. And it was the little C further down. And so out of those thousands, there was 1 email mishandled out of all of them. The rest were retroactively reclassified. So the Republicans shot themselves in the foot. Instead of having this really good press conference where James Comey condemned Clinton for being like a bad person but couldn't do anything about it. So now this time he's worried that it's going to get leaked if he doesn't say something. So shouldn't you spend that time going back to your department instead of breaking, and I think it's called the Hatch Law, or the Hatch Amendment, that you can't, that they should not, as the FBI, give anything about a case that's not, unless it's charges, unless you're indicting, you shouldn't do anything within 60 days of an election, because you don't want to sway an election when the person being accused of something, if they're not being indicted, you can't face your accuser. And that's one of the big things about the American court system, is that you get to face your accuser.
Right.
And so there's no way for Clinton to come back from this. And he leaked it to Chaffetz. He gave it to Chaffetz, worried about a leak coming from the FBI. And then Chaffetz just went right to the press with it. So you have all these people just acting in a partisan way about Anthony Weiner's emails.
Ex-wife's. No.
But it's his account that she printed stuff off of.
So what happened was the FBI has been investigating Anthony Weiner and the possibility that he sent pictures to
dick pics to an
underage girl.
15,
right.
Yeah, 15
so
year old.
they got a search warrant for a laptop computer. And so on that laptop, while they're not able to look at the email that at any point relates to anybody near Hillary Clinton, they noticed that they were on there.
Right.
They said, oh, hey, we noticed these emails over here, and we know that this chick right here worked with Hillary at the State Department.
Right.
And so since we've been talking about Hillary email, we think we want to look at them, and we noticed them, and we want you to know that we noticed them so that after Hillary's elected and we knew that we noticed them and we didn't tell anybody that we noticed them, you can't come back and say, hey, why didn't you fucking tell us?
Right.
In case they find something. That's what happened.
Yeah, and it's so wrong because they haven't looked. No one has seen them. They just know they're there,
and they didn't have a warrant for it either at the time.
James Comey, whose and honestly, whose entire budget and entire oversight is done by Congress, a very vindictive and partisan and ugly Congress, wanted to say, hey guys, I don't want to go back on what I told you in that 7-hour hearing, but I want you to know that we noticed these, and we might be looking into them, and we might want to find out if there's anything in them.
They
but there's
might
probably
be
not. Right.
Might have to amend my statement.
Right. There's no statement to amend now, but hey, just heads up. I might have to.
Maybe.
That's like me
Like
calling
planting a
Scottsdale
seed.
PD and saying, hey, I might be drunk on Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to drive, but I might just be drunk. So you guys might want to be on red alert because just in case shit goes down, which it probably won't because shit has never gone down. But just in case shit goes down.
Yeah.
I told
now
you.
you know.
I told you.
I told you.
Now,
You
now
can't
you
say
have,
I didn't.
Gonzalez, who was the AG and he's an awful human. The AG that tried to justify torture for Bush. You have him condemning Comey. You have Janine Pirro on Fox News.
Oh my God, and she's a cuckoo crazy. Like she.
Yeah, she is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs as far as like Trump
Right.
goes. Nightmare! And she's all about, no, this is wrong. So there are so many people from both sides of the aisle saying, this is so against what we do because, again, this could come back and haunt us later. Like
That's just
you
just
can't
like
do this.
Marco Rubio said. Like, stop doing this because once it hits us, now how we're gonna crawl out of that?
Yeah,
that shit.
And so, and at least in an election that has been such a not
been
a
so hard.
profile in courage,
Right.
this has just gone just above and beyond like. Shittiness at the last minute. And I got up Friday morning for work and I saw the headlines and I was reading them and I was like, oh Jesus, they found something incriminating. And then I read them and I was like, okay,
No,
what
they
if
didn't.
what if you didn't take that second to read paragraphs 2 and 3 and find out nope, it's just another like Hillary weird smear campaign and they could all be duplicates. This is from her aide and as Huma Abedin has said, like most of it is about like social engagements and where she's going next.
Right.
And it's stuff to print out for her to read. And that's where it could be trouble. Because Hillary, it turns out, wanted things printed. She doesn't like to read on the little
screen.
thing on the screen.
Sure.
So she wanted things printed up. So there's a chance that something was sent there to print that could be bad, but why would Huma have I don't know if she has, you know what I mean? So it's just so fucked up. And it could end up with us having Donald Trump as a fucking president.
Right.
Like, just all these votes for Gary, I don't know anything, but I'm stoned all the time, and Jill,
Cheech and Chong.
I don't believe
Jill,
in vaccines.
right,
Like,
medicine
just
is not
crazy fucking
real.
people.
Did you guys hear her, the John Oliver, how they played that folk singing?
Oh, yeah.
I did hear that.
Oh my
That was
God!
amazing.
She apparently was in
And John Oliver gets
band?
better and better
Oh my
and
God, he
better
really
every
does.
week. Yeah, like the
Jill
mamas
Stein
and the
was in-
papas.
yeah,
she was in
it was-
a 90s.
Oh,
I had
like
lot
a
of
like
water.
a mighty wind group.
Yeah. Oh no, exactly.
It was awful. Just awful.
I have not enjoyed that.
No, you would not.
No, I mean, I haven't got to
I
see
know,
it.
you just wouldn't though. So that would be a don't waste your time at all. Terrifying. Did you guys hear about the white nationalist guy that's been doing the robocalls?
Yes.
No, I didn't hear about
that
him.
was on Rage.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's a
I've
big
been under a rock.
Bigly story. It's
Bigly.
Bigly. So look up the white nationalist or Trump robocall. This William
He's trying to out
Johnson.
Evan McMullen. Listen,
is a-
I'm secretly a little bit rooting for Evan McMullen to take Utah.
By the way,
I am.
I have seen him on things, and he seems like a delight.
I imagine. I mean,
He doesn't
listen,
seem like a bad guy.
the Mormons, they raise some pretty polite people.
Well, also,
That's true.
the interesting
Very
thing
polite.
was that on CNN there was someone who was talking about the fact that this Evan McMullin could be a thing, because he's...
Well, we learned this from Veep. So he could win Utah. Mm-hmm. He's statistically tied now with Trump in Utah.
And I'm secretly rooting for him. And it's not a secret anymore. I've just told 10 people on the internet.
Yeah.
So,
10 people on the internet.
Without...
Sorry.
There is a situation where if Trump wins like North Carolina, Florida, Ohio, but loses Utah,
right?
It could loses Utah to Evan McMullin. It could end up with no one getting to 270, and then it could go to the House of Representatives for the vote because anybody with an electoral
college
vote.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who, what's that really called though? Well, anyways, whatever you get an elector.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone with an elector from the electoral college, then it goes, and those three names get tossed equally into the hat. So it would be the three of them in the hat, where the Republican House could pick the next president.
Go back to your states. I'm doing the math. So McMullen's got Utah. That's 6 votes. So give Trump
Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, Iowa.
He's already got Iowa on my map. Okay.
Yeah, and Ohio.
Oh, so that alone, so
that gets him like 264 or something like that.
That gives him 263, Hillary 269.
And now no one is at 270, so now it gets thrown, and we learned this from Veep. Now it gets thrown into the House of Representatives where they can vote. And if it's 269 to 269, they have to pick through the two. Sure. But if Evan McMullen's getting one, now it's equal footing. Now all three go to the House of Representatives.
Interesting.
With equal votes, everyone gets a vote. The first one to 26 wins the and they actually did that because they had to get Jonah to go and vote against.
That's right.
But local listeners, if Hillary takes Arizona, that's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That strategy's gone.
And North Carolina.
Well, and I think it's kind of any of those, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's...
So when the election...
But then you have to give up...
You have to watch North Carolina and Pennsylvania. If Hillary gets North Carolina and Pennsylvania, as long as Michigan and Minnesota, she can lose a whole swath of states and win. Because Virginia's kind of out of everybody's grasp. North Carolina, I think, got moved back into toss-up today.
Mm-hmm. Well, this William Johnson guy, this white nationalist, he is just awful. If you've ever listened to or seen him on any of the different shows, he's prominent. I have that problem with the fact that prominent would go with this, but ardent supporter of Donald Trump. And to be fair, Trump has completely said no.
He's got all the best supporters.
He does. Bigley. This is a Bigley story. He has adamantly said no. I don't have ties to this guy. Just like Putin, he doesn't have ties to him.
Or David Duke.
Correct. But he is calling around in Utah with hello, my name is William Johnson. The audio recording begins. I am a farmer and a white nationalist. I make this call against Evan McMullin and in support of Donald Trump. Evan McMullin is an open borders amnesty supporter. And this was what keeps getting played. Evan has 2 mommies. Right. His mother is a lesbian, married to another woman. Typically what a lesbian means, but whatever.
2 mommies.
Is that true? Does Evan have 2 mommies? I don't know shit about Evan McMullin. Well, I don't know, but I saw my first.
You're rooting for him. You might want to research him a little, Kat.
I didn't fucking vote for him.
I was shocked that neither one of you carried this story.
That's
today.
why I figured you would.
I left it alone because I'm like, they'll cover that tomorrow.
Evan is William Johnson goes on to say Evan is okay with that about the 2 mommies. Indeed, Evan supports the Supreme Court ruling legalizing gay marriage. Johnson goes on to say Evan is over 40 and is not married.
This is the line that got me. I thought, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
He is over 40 years old. He is not married and doesn't even have a girlfriend.
Doesn't even.
No.
I believe
Son
Evan.
of a bitch.
Going to prom alone.
That's right. I believe Evan
Must
is
be
a
a
closet
gay.
homosexual.
That cracked me up when I read that or heard that last night.
Don't vote for Evan McMullin. Vote for Donald Trump. He will respect all women and be a president we can be proud of.
Mm-hmm.
When asked what evidence he has for any of these claims, Johnson emailed the Daily Beast and says, well, Wikipedia tells his story about his mom. Also, if you Google him, it readily comes up. I said that I think he's a closet homosexual, he says. Calling someone a homosexual is no longer defamation. Also, he is a public figure.
And it isn't.
Word on the street. is that he is gay. The white nationalist leader went on, there are a lot of homosexual Mormons, some struggling to stay in the church and some who are bitter. Well, some are bitter still in church. He cited
That's true.
He cited a Reddit thread.
I know some that have never been to church
Right,
and are
exactly,
bitter. Like,
yeah. I'm bitter. Fuck you.
We know.
That thread full of unverified claims about McMullen's alleged homosexuality. In response to the news of the ad, McMullen tweeted that this is just another desperate attack by Trump and his racist supporters as his lead continues to diminish in Utah. This attack is consistent with Trump's bigoted, deceitful campaign and vision for America. People will not be fooled. But, the issue is that truly Trump has said, no, I'm disavowing this. This is not a part of my campaign. So,
which I think is the first time that he's ever
He's
done
ever
that.
right.
He's
Just
ever
as himself.
disavowed some hateful shit.
He tried to do that with the KKK.
With David
Duke, sure.
Well, first he had to ask who they were. Because
Right, exactly. He was like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who David Duke is, and I don't know this.
It turns out Evan McMullen does not have two mommies.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, what's the story?
McMullen was born in Provo, Utah, the son of a computer scientist, David McMullen, and his wife, Lane Bullard. He grew up outside of Seattle. He graduated in 1994 No. Is that right? A 94 graduate of Auburn Senior High School. Went on a mission to southern Brazil after high school. He then attended BYU, received his bachelor's degree. He worked for the CIA from 2001 to 2011.
He's only 22 years old. Am I doing that wrong?
No, 94.
Graduated in 94.
Got it. Okay, I'm like, wait a minute.
I know. I was doing the math too. I'm like, wait a minute.
whoa.
Oh no. He's my age.
Thank
All right.
you.
He's a little older than me.
I was like, what?
I was stumbled by the by the years too.
That was weird.
Anyway,
money was given in September of 2015 to Trump, $250, and it was returned. Apparently, the money had been returned, but now there's been approximately $1,500 given since then. And that's
there's no
already
record
been
of
spent.
that.
Right.
That was on Maddow yesterday, I think.
Yeah, and they're saying, Trump says I would return it. Don't be so angry. I don't even know who he is. So, it was.
Well, there was another issue where the guy came back and said that he'd made other donations, but not under his name, if I'm not mistaken. Like he'd slipped in money elsewhere, but it wasn't trackable directly back to him.
Well, this said, I donated more than $1,500, Johnson. I think I'm near the max of the 25 or near a max of 2,500. He paid by credit card and doesn't keep personal accounts, so I don't know for sure, but I've given on many occasions. So, I mean, you'd think it would be easy to be proven, but I think what scares me more than people just voting for Trump is that's the thinking that goes along with it, to where I think I've been in a bubble that
and now
says
we're back to
things are safer, things are kinder, things are...
No, but now being over 40 and single is now suspicious.
Dun, dun, dun.
Something's up there.
You don't know, you big homo.
Fucking
I mean,
homos.
it's
fucking homos. I'm
he
still
is-
with Evan McMullen.
So in
I'm
case
rooting for
you're
him
in Utah, he is not against overturning the marriage equality vote, but he is for overturning Roe v. Wade. So we're not with him anymore, and he wants to appoint if he was president, he would appoint justices who are original constitutionalists like Scalia and my cock's as big as a Coke can. Clarence Thomas.
Who actually is seeming to kind of...
So all of a sudden,
is he rallying and talking again?
Good
for
it's
him.
weird.
Well, because Anton's gone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because Antonin, because he hid behind him.
Scalia.
Kindly up, you know what I mean? But so I mean, just reading that about him, like as soon as you want to appoint justices to overturn Roe v. Wade, we're out. Like we can't play no more.
Right.
Oh, and I voted. I forgot to say that.
Oh my goodness!
I was a little confused by
Congratulations.
you posted, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday that you were
posted
there.
yesterday that I was there, and then today it came up, and there was a thing that said, there was a Facebook thing that said, know your polling places.
Yeah.
And then it said, did you already vote? And if you did, hit here. And then it pulled up a meme that said, I did it.
Okay, because I was confused.
That was just, I wanted Facebook to stop telling me where to vote, because I went. So
I've done it.
right up the ass of good night, Harrison. Right up the ass of Helen
night,
Purcell. I don't trust those people with anything, so I went down and got my no waiting.
Right.
There was 2 people voting with me at 3:30 in the p.m.
Yesterday.
at the elections office on something street, 5th Street, 7th Street,
Downtown
7th
Phoenix.
Avenue. At but you go to the office of the elections. You go to, I mean, that's where the closest site for me is.
Yep.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump. It's like a 3-minute car ride. Maybe I was in the car for maybe a song and a half. And you go down there, you walk in, you get your ballot and an envelope. You do your ballot, and thank you to Jacob Treweiler. Is that how you say his last name?
Treweiler.
Treweiler. He helped me because he works for the appellate court of the appellate court for Arizona. So he helped me with a couple of the appellate court judges.
Okay.
He gave me what the ruling was from our district judge, the highest judge that we have that was on there, and she was anti-gay marriage, so she got a big firm no. And I didn't find anything suspicious about the 2 from the appellate court, and then the rest I don't really believe in voting on judges. So
Right, if you don't know anything about them.
Since I had someone to tell me like a couple of rulings that I cared about, and I was like, are there any like rape cases where they let some guy, felt sorry for the rapist? And since I couldn't, and I Googled 100 different ways for the last 4 or 5 nights at work, whenever I was working, I would set up the Google Arizona judges with bad rape records, and nothing came up. So
good.
I Googled it with like every wording you could think about, because I was like, what in the courts lately really works my buttons? And it turns out it's these feeling sorry for a rapist people that got to go.
That gotcha.
So I was like, if I'm gonna vote somebody out, it's gonna be someone who's worried about the continued safety and life goals of a rapist.
I would love to have those names.
So her name is the first. There's only one person in the top slot.
Okay.
Her name is Ann someone or other.
Okay.
So if we Google ballot ready, I think it's ballotready.org, and all the judges are on there, and then there's only 2 from the appellate courts that I could vote on, and I'm not sure how the appellate courts work if they were on different ones, because they're on my sample ballot there were like 8, but on my actual ballot there were only 2. And so I asked Jacob about those 2, and he said they were both fine, and there was nothing embarrassing, and it made his job pleasant, I think were his exact words.
Oh.
Nice. Yeah, there's only one judge that when I worked for the public defender's office that Judge Baca. If I see her name on there, otherwise I won't vote. Like I'll just put no. It's just right away. She was awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
And like I didn't vote on the community colleges thing because I don't know what that's about, and I don't think I care. Like I really don't see any way for me to care
that wasn't
about
on mine.
how I care about community college boards. Like I see no reason. I've never heard any conflict, and I'm like, I don't want to offer an opinion on something that may be good or bad. Although I am a product of the community college system here in Arizona, and they were a great help with me becoming a nurse. I utilized the least expensive way to get to college before Bernie told me it would be free.
I'm hoping that comes
But
soon,
I had nothing.
I'm
And then as far as like
old.
the Osborne, I'm in the Osborne district. As far as the Osborne School Board, you're in charge. Like, I wasn't going to Google every name and find out whether they believe Noah's Ark is a children's story or a chilling documentary about rain. So
a long documentary, apparently 40 days.
It was a cold, dark night.
So there was some things that I just decided I had to bow out on. Like I don't want to give my uninformed opinion.
Oh, I did the exact same way. It's like if I don't know about it, I'm done with it. Here's what I know.
Yeah.
We'll go on out.
So it turns out and from Salon.com, which I trust them. They seem to be of
Salon.
Salon.com.
Salon.
Living room in English. McMullen, who is an active member of the Church of Latter-day Saints, has said, tomorrow will be a latter day, by the way, has said he accepts his mother's marriage but still opposes legal recognition of same-sex unions. So now I'm out on him. If you can't come out in your mother for your mother, if you're going to hide, he's a pussy. Yeah. Evan McMullen, you got to go.
Sure.
I'm not with you. I'm not with you anymore as the brave alternative. Because we're looking for, what's the old white guy on MSNBC's name?
Chris Hayes?
Is he always yelling at people? What's his name?
Yeah, Hardball with Chris Hayes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's play Hardball.
Chris Matthews.
Chris Matthews.
I'm sorry.
He mostly drives me crazy, and he mostly makes me want to hit my TV with something because he loves Love Actually.
He does a lot.
And everything goes. I do like that it's always a movie reference.
Yeah.
And everything's a profile in courage, or it's not a profile in courage, and almost anything in politics this year is not a profile in courage.
Right.
But and it's just this is just so weak. Your mom's gay. she's married to another woman legally. Shut the fuck up about it. Like, put it down.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Also,
Yeah.
his mom should just go smack the shit out of him right now.
My mom has a very different view. That's okay. Nope, she doesn't like you anymore. You know what? Mom and her girlfriend are living a happy life, and they're
fine.
like, well, poor Evan.
Yeah.
He's still a Republican.
He doesn't like flannel. Sorry about it.
So his religion plays an important role in his protest candidacy. It's integral to his appeal in Utah. So, but the good thing is if Hillary wins North Carolina and Trump loses Utah, it doesn't matter what magical thinking he has. If he doesn't win Utah, there's just no way there. I mean, unless something drastic happens, like Hillary loses Michigan, which she did in the fucking spring to Bernie Sanders.
Going back to the map.
And you guys saw the thing about Make America Great Again?
I saw
you
that.
saw that on Rachel?
I saw that on Rachel.
Oh, that they're quoting SNL?
Well,
the
they're
picture,
quoting
yeah.
SNL,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they're congratulating SNL
Yes.
because they think they're all wearing white sheets too.
and yeah,
We're mainstream now because we're on SNL.
We're on
What?
SNL.
Right.
You're a dumbass.
This was
So, and then we have to talk about it, and I'm sorry to bring it up now, and that I waited so long.
From the KKK.
So,
Yeah. That's nice.
just because we seem like we're insulated in a strange world. So the
It's just a
pipeline
small
protest. Well, no. But there is something big going on outside of the
Outside of email, right?
outside of emails, and that's that the Dakota Access Pipeline
Yes.
protest is going strong. They are getting they're getting celebrity support, but they're also getting abused by the police. The military presence for a peaceful protest has gotten out of hand.
Right.
And in contrast, the Bundy family, who did an armed takeover of a
Right.
federal site in Oregon,
Yep.
got cleared of all charges.
Acquitted of everything.
Acquitted of everything. They did
Across
an
the
armed
board.
takeover of federal territory. This is a peaceful
That was
protest.
shocking.
And they're getting, just beaten and abused. And it really is shocking. First off, because now there's an oil spill currently as of today.
In Georgia, no, was it
Alabama?
Georgia? Alabama, maybe.
Okay.
There's an
That I
oil
didn't
spill
hear.
feeding
With a
oil to
fire.
the east. With a fire, there's a huge... The oil pipeline is a bad idea because it always fucking goes wrong.
Yeah.
There's always an oil spill in protected lands, or they ruin the Gulf Coast, or we fuck up this oil thing. So if somebody says we don't want it on our land, we've done enough to the Native Americans.
off
It's
my
done. Our
lawn.
First Nations were fucking goddamn done. Move it. If you want it that bad, find some other way to get it down here.
Did you hear the reason
And
that
you know where
it's
you gotta
going?
move it? Don't fucking build it because no one wants it. Because when you move it to Michigan, they're gonna be like, "No, you guys fuck with our water." You move
Yeah.
it to Minnesota, we got 1,000 goddamn lakes. Don't dirty our
Or
water.
10.
So the reason that it's routed where it is now, and the peaceful protests are going on from the Native Americans, is because a bunch of white people threw a fit, protested, and got them to move the pipeline to begin
no,
with.
because it's gonna fuck
It's
up our
going to
water.
fuck up our water.
Yeah.
So then it gets rerouted, and the natives are like, hold on.
Yeah, we need water
So
too.
for before all these people who are like, let it run through, fuck you. A bunch of angry white people protested and got their way. That's why it's where it is now.
But then you see the Bundy protest of the federal government, and then if you lived here in Arizona, the Scottsdale area, back years ago, before the 101 followed Pima,
Okay.
there were all those signs back then that said "Go West ADOT" as Arizona Department of Transportation, because they built, instead of putting the 101 and redoing Pima Road, which is just widen the fucker and call it an
Right,
expressway,
right.
they built an expressway right next to it on native lands.
Right.
So the Native Americans lost some of the tribal lands they were given, and they built a freeway along there.
But wasn't part of the trade of that, like, they get money forever because of it's on their land?
Right, but you're also polluting the land. Now,
No, I get that. But, like, part of the trade-off was, look, we're going to pay you for this. So somebody said, okay, we'll take the money.
Right, because eventually they're going to build it anyway. So what can we get out of it? Like, you're just going to fuck us. So what do we get out of it? Which is, you know,
put a casino right next to the 101 will be fine. Okay, so they did.
right. So you get some money, but you still are ruining land when there's a road right
Already
there.
there.
But the people that live along Pima, the white people that live in Scottsdale along Pima Boulevard, didn't want that to become a busier thoroughfare.
But it kind of is already.
Right.
Right.
But because Scottsdale's so fucking stupid, and they're always playing that game of like, we're a little western town. We don't want to have a main thoroughfare. We don't want 3 stoplights. The whiniest. I worked 20 years. I worked in that goddamn city, and I would never live there because it's awful. They are awful people doing awful things on a continuous basis. And one of the things is like, we don't want mass transportation. Then we'll be a big city.
We're gonna
and
write
they
down
whined about
Scottsdale
getting
right now, 'cause we
right,
just lost
Scottsdale.
them.
and they
Yeah.
whined about traffic. They didn't let they didn't let Los Arcos Mall become
that's
the
right.
stadium because they
That's
didn't want those hockey players down there.
That's
Then we'll
right.
be a big city. You're a big fucking city. There's no horses. The Wells Fargo wagon's not coming down the street. And you know the word I want to use.
Yeah.
It
I
gets
know.
so ridiculous.
Thank
Scottsdale
you.
Road is now wider than the Autobahn. What the fuck are you people doing? Put a train in the middle of it. Get some mass transportation. Scottsdale Road, if you don't live here, is 7 lanes wide at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's
3 up, 3
It
down, and a
is?
turn lane. Yep.
a double turn
down,
lane.
Yep, down
It's
by
7
Sure,
lanes
sure.
wide in many parts of the. But we're a small town. You have a mall that crosses 3 streets. Literally has a walking bridge over 3 streets.
Yeah.
We're a small town.
It's a really nice mall, though.
I hate those fuckers.
There's an entire floor that I
20
can't afford to even go on.
20.
How come nobody calls him bitter when he gets like that and when he gets going?
Oh, I seriously.
That's what the B stands for.
Oh, got it. Okay. Fair.
Where's there a
we
B?
finally found it.
No, the LGB.
LGB.
L likes girls.
Bitter.
G guys.
Be bitter.
Be bitter.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where it should go.
I working in
yeah.
Scottsdale for
Yeah.
20 years. Worked my last gay nerve.
Sure.
I
So
mean,
much
and
for being
I
Shirley.
lived for almost 2 years in Mesa, and I sent so much hate mail to the Mesa Tribune.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Are they still a
constantly sent
thing?
hate mail to those.
They're
those
probably glad you moved away.
racist fuckers. I think they helped me move.
They packed the bags for you.
That's who brought the truck.
City
They're
council
off-
meeting was like,
Paid for you.
They used to have things in the newspaper, in the Mesa Tribune, about letting gays use the pools, like going to Park and Slide. What's that place called? Slip and Slide?
yeah, whatever.
Castles
Some
and
water park.
coasters.
Castles? No, that's the
No.
West Side.
Wet and Wild.
Wet and
Wet
no,
and-
something
No,
like
that's
that.
what north.
Anyways, it's a water
Yeah.
slide park. They had a thing in the newspaper.
Sunsplash.
Sunsplash.
Sun sounds like water. Whatever. That's
Anyways,
it.
but they had a thing in the newspaper.
First
Reynolds,
splash, I was
Burt
taking a
Reynolds.
bath.
I was trying to finish that lyric and I can't.
Oh,
On
and,
about a
Guns
Saturday night.
and ships. That's what I got.
and so the balance shifts.
right.
We rendezvous with
Golfland
Rochelle.
Sunsplash.
Sunsplash.
Nicely
It
done.
wasn't called that then.
It is
But
now.
It is now. But anyways,
Nightmares.
they
Please
had a thing
finish the
about
story.
letting gay people go to the water parks because AIDS was spread through pools. This was in the editorial page of the Mesa Tribune in the 80s.
Wow.
And I'm like, we got to go.
Wow.
I said-
Did Ronald Reagan write that himself, or
I think this was the Bush year. I think we were to
Okay.
Bush by then.
was that the end?
Yeah, because he didn't live in Mesa during the
Oh,
Reagan
I
era.
had to get out for my own sanity from the beautiful off-Broadway apartments that I lived
Of course.
with the Wilk just visited there. I didn't live with the Wilk till the 90s. So there you go. Just
That went a really
there's-
long way.
There's some shitty things going on in that pipeline, and then there's some shitty parts to this state, the Alabama of the West, that are just horrifying.
I know.
You guys didn't live here through the MLK things. Like, you didn't hear all
Oh
of
no, I actually remember
I was
some
here.
of that. Yes,
Some of it, but the latter part of it.
latter part of it.
That's how we finally got a Super Bowl. Was we
Yes.
finally agreed
Right.
to like, and then we had to give up Columbus
To
Day, which was
acknowledge
offensive,
Martin
and it was
Luther
kind of
King.
okay to do it. But
No, it's Indigenous Peoples Day.
That's
Barry
right.
fucking Goldwater, that pig, who eventually came around to gays, because guess what? His grandson was gay, and he didn't do the profile and courage that Evan McMullen did, but he came out for gay rights. But I mean, just Barry Goldwater, biggest pig in the entire world, racist fucking pig.
It was his,
And we named an
it was
airport
his-
after him.
It was his granddaughter that introduced Michelle Obama when she was here, and
Oh yeah, because the family can't disavow that fucker fast enough.
no, I mean they were talking about
The
Barry
irony.
yeah, but at the same time, like how great Barry Goldwater was.
Oh no, racist pig.
I'm just telling you, like at the thing when I was
Opposed the
watching
Civil
it, I
Rights
was
Act. Like ran his whole
Yeah.
campaign was against
yeah.
the Civil Rights Act. Like, just like if he could have used the word pickaninny, he would have.
Well, last Thursday or last Wednesday or Thursday, whatever it was when Michelle was here, that's not how it was being presented. So it was interesting.
Oh yeah, just the worst. The worst.
Yeah. Interesting.
And we named the airport after him.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, no one Googled this man. Like,
There was also a
let's
department
just call
store.
it Redskins Airport. You know what I mean? Well, that's the family name. That's not named after someone. That's the Goldwater family had a department store. They can't change their name to the Scheifmans. It's not their name. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, I want to sell dresses. Who's the biggest racist we can find? Let's call it that. Like,
Okay. You just made me laugh thinking about. I just watched. What was the guy on Saturday Night Live? That was the gay guy. It was the social guy that was
Stefan.
He did this segment where
right.
they were talking about. Oh God, I'm gonna fuck it up because I don't remember, but it was so funny where he, because he read all that and didn't know what it was coming.
Yeah.
Where they talked about the name of the Jewish guy. And he goes, whatever it was.
oh, I can't remember either.
Artie Birnbaum, and he just lost it laughing.
Oh
'Cause
no, it's Dracula. You know how Black Dracula is Blackula?
Yeah.
There's a Jewish Dracula. You know what his name is? Artie Schmartbaum. The joke just sells.
It was so fucking funny.
That joke just
that
works.
popped up the other day on YouTube or on Facebook, and I just started laughing hysterically about it. Oh my God! All right, so we beat that up. Let's do this and see if we can get out of here before 10:30.
And now, thoughtful vulgarity, where we in the studio try to make ourselves slightly less shallow, which is not hard to do. We will ask one question of the panel while fucked up drunk. Because you know at home how well it goes when important questions come up several hours after alcohol has been served. Politics, religion, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Who could you offend? Good luck.
So we'll just go with the Barry Goldwater thing, because as I'm reading up on Monsieur Goldwater, and his grandson is a very lovely human who we all know.
Oh, that's nice.
So sorry about the things I said about your grandpa. Not very nice. So like who is the person in our like political mythology, especially as we learn more and more, that you're just like, Jesus Christ, people follow that?
Aaron Burr, sir. It's 1800, ladies. Tell your husbands, vote for Burr.
Vote for Burr.
And he shot a guy. I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, I don't.
I didn't even hear it because I was doing other stuff.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why do I bother to talk? Because I'm listening. Who is Rick?
Everybody say hi to Rick.
Hi, Rick. So, and I'm also trying to follow along on the YouTube thing, but now I can't do all three things.
I'm on it.
No, YouTube is not supposed to have the chat room. I don't know why it's there, but
Well, we like it. It's fun.
We like it.
That way we're all on one page.
No, it's not, because we have this page.
Yeah, but they can watch and type at the same time. You don't have to toggle between.
It's very
Get
handy
another
for them.
computer.
It's very handy for our people.
It's not my problem. You're poor.
Where did that come from?
They could be in their car.
Then they need to drive.
Well, they're listening and typing
they're
at
not.
stoplights like I do. Ignore the old man over here.
Yes,
Ignore
seriously.
Grandpa on the porch. The rest of us welcome you to our lawn.
We'll meet you on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll meet you on
God.
YouTube.
It's just grass, kids. Play on the lawn.
Yeah, you can play on the lawn. My
I'm going to turn this
God.
whole show around and we'll all go home.
I'm going to take my toys.
I'm taking all the
I'm
toys.
taking my toys.
So make me come back there.
Who is the person in like political mythology that you're like, you followed, like that was like, that's your hero? Like, who's the person that it's just shocking to hear that someone is like, that's who I want my party named after. That's who I want to like emulate. Like, who's the one that you're like, what the fuck? It's kind of like when you go to a wedding and somebody plays Every Breath You Take as their wedding song. And you're like, which one of you is mentally unstable?
I'll be watching you.
Every step you take.
'Cause
That's also from Veep, when the theme song for the vice president is Every Breath You Take. And like, we have a data breach. Everybody ever thinks we're watching them. Don't make it every other lyric.
It's a good time.
I'm
looking at the video. I look so bored when you talk.
Huh?
Is that what I really look like when you talk? Because I look like I'm rolling my eyes.
Actual footage of
it's
you.
on.
It's actual footage.
You just put the hood on and go to sleep.
So, but maybe rephrase that because that's, put the hood on and go to sleep. That's what David Duke says to his grandchildren. Are you so I'm gonna go with
So would
That's fantastic. Goddamn, that's good.
You just keep watching.
can't wait. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
It's on delayed.
So
Are you
excited.
referring to like the fact that I can't believe people followed Hitler or Jim Jones or things like this? Or
No, but just someone in our political mythology that you're like, really? That guy?
Go to Cat.
I mean, because they're called Goldwater Republicans. Like, they still call themselves that. I mean, there's so many to choose from. There's the Log Cabin Republicans, like Gays for Reagan.
No, Gays for Trump is where
I was gonna
would
say
be like,
the obvious
it would
choice. I
be
think there would be
now.
Ronald Reagan, a president that won by a landslide, but turned out to be not always our friend.
Yeah, and we
didn't
can't
help
quite
us
get
out.
our finger on that Iran-Contra thing.
I mean, because I don't want to keep prolonging it. I mean, I really would think that if that's where you're going with it, I would think like gays for Trump, women for Trump. The idea of any kind of any kind of minority for Trump kind of group that's fucking ridiculous.
Except for like maybe bigots for Trump. That might be
that's
justifiable.
the problem, because they're not a minority at this point.
But
we're seeing that
we're currently in that. But who have you learned more about over time that you're like, oh Jesus?
Go to Cat. Let me think about it, please.
Aaron Burr, sir. I'm interested to hear your question because I think your question or your answer will shed more light on everyone else's. I think we're all kind of going, wait, what are you? Are you just gonna say Goldwater? Because all right.
No, but I mean
you know what I mean?
that's a good example. But there's like, as you find out, like Reagan's too recent too, because we were all alive for Reagan, so we knew the shenanigans.
So you're looking for like a Grover Cleveland or a
like somebody like that you find it like, oh my God, Thomas Jefferson owned slaves and he wrote all men are free. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who's the
Sure.
person that you're like, really? We fought, like, we believe this? Fucker?
Oh my God, the list is long.
That's what I
Ben.
mean. Like,
The
to
list
me,
is
it's an
very
easy
long.
question of people that you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because
Two people that one I learned a
We
lot.
got a volunteer from the audience.
Two people that I learned a lot about, obviously in this political season, because I didn't follow it a lot previous to this. One is
Dr. and Mrs.
No, George Wallace. I didn't know much about George Wallace previously, who obviously has been paralleled to Trump in all of his racist, the way he stirs up people, and just a lot of hate speech coming out of George Wallace.
Birmingham, they love the governor.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
So-
what Sweet Home Alabama's about.
So that was a little interesting that I learned about. The other one was
And followed, not just followed, but like revered. That's exactly what I mean. Like, this was someone who wasn't. He's not disavowed to this day.
No, people still were like, he was right. He should have been president.
Whether sarcastic or not, like, that's a song that everyone sings along to.
And then the other one I just recently learned about is Andrew Johnson,
Oh, yeah.
who followed Lincoln, which if you watched Rachel, that was a very interesting thing. The fact that after, when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, the gentleman who followed him became
to
president.
balance out the ticket.
Right. Was Andrew Johnson, who was completely racist, completely against the end of slavery, completely against integration or any of that stuff. He was crazy out there. Obviously lost miserably when the actual election
When
came
he came
around.
up to be elected, right.
No, they
Didn't
wouldn't
even run
nom-
again. Yeah,
wasn't even nominated by the party. But I just thought that was interesting. I had no idea that person followed Lincoln and was like given.
No, ran with Lincoln. That's Lincoln's running mate. That's his vice president.
Oh, that was his vice president. I didn't.
Well,
I
that's
didn't
how
catch-
that's how you become
I-
president.
I understand that now. Going that far back, I wasn't sure that was still the setup at that moment.
Yeah.
Or
So
if there was
he
something other fucked up that happened.
They brought in a racist Southerner to balance out the ticket to get
to get
votes,
Lincoln in there.
to get votes, because that's how it worked. And so if you're like, if Pence, the horrible person that's anti-gay, if somebody shoots Trump, then you get the anti-gay wizard on your team. So I mean,
okay. Yeah. I see where you're going with that.
And Andrew Johnson's a good one. Like, you're like, oh, we voted for Lincoln, and we forgot to pay attention to the guy behind the curtain, and then they shot the guy in front of the curtain, and now we got this guy.
Right.
And Wallace is right. George Wallace
is a good example too.
Oh, a good example. And because like people don't realize when you're singing along to Sweet Home Alabama.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, in Birmingham, we love the governor. Like, that's... And whether or not... it goes back and forth on how they meant that, because Sweet Home Alabama is written as a very, very, very bitter answer to Neil Young's Southern Man.
Oh.
Like, that is fighting in lyrics, in music between Neil Young's, I think it's called Southern Man, and Sweet Home Alabama. Is so no one's really sure, and then they all died in a plane crash. There's no way to know. But
irony.
So
does it have to be somebody that is solely
political? No.
Then Pat Robertson.
Ooh, that's another one who you came.
And who did you say?
Pat Robertson.
Oh yeah, Pat Buchanan, Pat Robertson.
Right,
all the like they have followers.
The televangelist kind of crazy. Yeah, because of how many followers they have that go, oh yeah. Oral Roberts
Falwell would be right up in there.
Jerry Falwell, that's what I was thinking of actually. Jerry Falwell. It's the other one.
Going immediately to Facebook.
I know we're on Facebook. Oh, a face. Go ahead.
Oh, Rick has been there before. Yeah. Hold on.
Oh yeah. Old news.
Old news.
We're happy to have you, Rick.
We are, absolutely.
Wow, old news.
Crying out loud.
Okay, good answer.
No, I just
survey says,
because I was thinking like, as far as political kind of stuff, I'm like, well,
but
I'm definitely stunted with that.
Oh,
kind of
it's
stuff,
Richard Lowe. He's just going by Rick.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Rick is the.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's why I'm like, got it.
Yes, I know who you are.
Yes.
All right. I don't think I knew the Kansas part though.
That, but otherwise, yeah, any kind of religious craziness that and people following that. I guess that's where kind of the Jim Jones-ish stuff.
Oh yeah, and I get that. I mean, the one thing is a cult, so you kind of get people following a cult, but when you're following
more so, like
and you don't think of like Falwell supporters or Billy Graham Jr. and because my godmother and aunt who I adored was one part of that cult. Like you don't think of those people that watch those shows as members of a cult, and then you're like, "What?"
Well, you kind of do.
I do.
You do because my great grandmother and my great aunt, they would sit there and that was the send the money. If you do this, and then we're trying to bail them out because they were sending money. I mean, but watching that kind of stuff and the fact that people get transfixed by that and just go along with it.
And you're just like, don't you see it?
Blows my mind.
Don't you see it? Which I'm sure people think about us with Hillary of like, don't you see it?
Well, and the thing is, though, the difference would be for me that sit down with me then and explain what is it that you see rationally. Like, as far as the Hillary. And if you're just going to say emails, fuck off.
Well,
like,
if there was something that awful, wouldn't you be convicted? I mean, unless she's the great and powerful Oz.
Right.
Why is it that and I don't understand why nobody's waving this flag with regards to, and we're getting a little bit off topic, but you bring up emails.
Weird.
So though there were people killed, how many different Benghazis were there in the W administration? How many different emails did all of these different people lose, don't know about?
Or there
servers?
just wasn't email yet. So it's shredding documents. It's erasing tapes.
So how many people have pieces of paper?
So none of that. None of that was ever brought. It gets brought up. I don't understand why there's this. I get why there's a double standard because people want to spin it a certain way. I get that. However, if these are factual things, how come nobody is standing up going, "You're going to talk about 33,000 emails." Right. I'm just going to use a number. Here's 80,000 emails during an 8-year administration. Okay. These were all done, but nobody said a goddamn word about that.
Sure.
It's because she's a woman and she's a Democrat, so that's the only reason.
And she's doing well.
Right. And they got it. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things.
It's like with you're going to be a black president. We're going to hate you for whatever you do.
Right.
Yeah, because
Carly Fiorina.
Michelle Obama wore a sleeveless dress, and she was a man and a gorilla and all that shit.
Absolutely.
So who you got, Kat? We're not accepting Aaron Burr because he didn't have a lot of followers.
I have nothing. Like, I understand the question, and I've got nothing.
Nothing from you. You're listening to presidential. No one.
No, and I would have to. I listen so passively. Like, I have to sit and think and actually look at and remember.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting and thinking is something you're not willing to
Zip
do right
it.
now?
Zip it,
Okay,
Doris.
just checking. Doris. Doris? Wow.
I thought she called you Dolores. I thought it was much more formal.
Wow.
No, it's
Doris for short.
It's Madonna barking at Rosie O'Donnell from A League of Our Own.
Oh,
Zip
yeah,
it, Doris.
Oh.
Back on board. Back on board.
I knew if there was a movie reference, she'd get there.
No. I got nothing.
And my one is always Goldwater, because every time I go to the Goldwater terminal, I'm like, really? This guy? We can't let this go? Like,
You know what's funny is I actually had forgotten about it because to me it's just T4.
yeah.
I don't even think about the fact that it is the Goldwater terminal.
yeah.
It's T4 to
Terminal
me.
And if they ever
Sure,
change
yeah,
the
you're
name of the beautifully named Sky Harbor, I will be.
I don't think they ever
I will chain myself to a fence, because that is the best named airport
is.
in the whole world.
I agree. It is.
Sky Harbor. It's like a grand staircase right there.
It's the grand
staircase.
The grand
The
staircase of
grand.
airports.
It's the grand Torino.
But though, I have two, and some of it's from listening to Presidential lately. And the one is the horrible human that was Woodrow Wilson, which I learned from the state quarter of, I think it's Alabama. Somebody find out if this is true. That Helen Keller was from Alabama.
What?
And it turns out I can't see you. You didn't think I'd have a comeback for that, did you?
Damn, that was good.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm very impressed.
That Helen Keller had a big fight with Woodrow Wilson because he thought she was a commie bitch, and they kind of hated each other. Yeah, it's kind of funny. So I found that out, and I'm like, Woodrow Wilson. I looked him up, and I'm like, we got trouble right here in whatever city
right
we're
here
in.
in River City.
That's right.
But because of this whole "Let's Make America Great Again" and trying to figure out where this great was that we're not at now, and most people point back to like the 50s, and everybody wants to go back to the 50s because it's all happy days and Greece and all that stuff.
Sure.
And then you find out more and more about Eisenhower and his like trying to overthrow Cuba and like putting someone else in power in Iran, and you're like, we're having so many fucking problems because you were an asshole who couldn't see beyond this week or next week. I'll just go with Vita on your asses.
Right.
But, and have no impossible dream. So, I mean, it's just really crazy that here's this I Like Ike in this era that we all want to go back to, and he's the one that put In God We Trust in Our Money and was such a religious fucking weirdo and no profiles and courage that if we didn't put under God into the Pledge of Allegiance and In God We Trust in Our Money, that we would be heathens, and just went back to all these really weird things.
I just listened to his episode.
Yeah, and all the things that we're paying for years later for the shit he started in the 50s, because he was an absolute fucking coward on so many issues.
Well, because he started the covert military action.
Yeah, he's all about covert action.
I think he was the first president to assassinate another world leader.
Mm-hmm. And he got rid of the democratically elected leader of Iran and put in the Shah that we'd paid for in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the aughts, the teens. Like, we keep paying for this asshole's mistakes, and nothing holds up. He picked Nixon as his vice president. Like,
it's a good choice.
It's a great choice.
Clearly.
So I mean, it really is. It's kind of amazing. The more you study, and I'm a history nerd to go into the story, and the more you learn about it, you're like, what the fuck?
Well, and that's part of the reason I abstain, because I'm thinking to myself, like, all my entire view of American history, especially at a presidential level, is that we're terrible people. We're really proud of how amazing we are, but we're really terrible people at every step of the way. There are like 3 shining moments, and we killed all those fuckers.
Then we have the leader of a genocide
terrible,
on our 20.
terrible people, right?
To make it worse, the guy on the 20 is one of the worst, most despicable people.
Right. Trail of Tears, my friend.
The Trail of Tears, like, committed genocide on a massive scale. That Hitler was kind of like, can I see his biography again?
Right.
Let's read that one again. That looked pretty good.
But wasn't that the big thing for Harriet Tubman about?
Well, no, they were gonna bump
replace
Alexander Hamilton.
Right. Oh, okay.
Right. They were gonna
Because
bump
no one heard of him.
Hamilton.
Got it.
Everybody's like, wait a minute.
And they were talking about putting a woman on the 10.
Right.
And women were like, fuck no. We want one of the good bills.
Right.
Like, you got 2 5s, you don't need a 10.
that up. Right.
You got 10 ones, you don't need a 10. But a 20, you got something. Spits right out at you at the ATM.
Right.
God, and you thought we were going to end on time.
Didn't work out that way.
So, interesting question. And if it's all you're getting out of this is just, if you don't like this election, just study an old one.
Right.
Yeah, they're all kind of terrible.
Because they're all terrible.
And this one will probably go down as terrible too.
Oh.
We'll
How
eventually
can it
get
already
there.
has?
Yeah.
How can it not? I mean,
6 days to go before the election. We will all be here live in Studio C with a flurry of friends and booze
Drunk.
and food.
nightmare.
Drunk.
Oh. And
However this turns out.
sorrow, weeping, and just plan on just bring a sleeping blag.
It'll be
Sleeping
good.
blag.
It'll be good.
I'm checking my schedule right now to see if I
Well,
have to work next Wednesday.
as we wrap up tonight's show, let's
Jesus.
leave you with this parting thought. We will see you
you
next
next
Tuesday.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America.
Hey girl, you okay?